ఎవరు నా పెట్టింది నేను పెట్టడం. అమ్మ ఇది మినిమైజ్ చేశానే. దీన్ని ఇందాక నువ్వు చిన్నదిగా చేసావు. దీనిదా చిన్నదిగా
నాకు అర్థం కాలే. ఇట్లాగా
ఇప్పుడు వెనకాల బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఏం కనిపిస్తుంది?
వైట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది కదా,
అదే అది ఉందా లేదా ఇది కనిపిస్తే ఏమన్నా ఇంకా వాళ్ళు హోస్ట్ చేయలేదు కాబట్టి తెలియదు మనకి. 3 participants ఉన్నారు. సీఎం ఆదాల్సి వచ్చా ఇదే ఉంటుంది. అదిగో ఇవి కనిపిస్తున్నాయి కదా, అది నేను తీస్తాను. నువ్వు బరువు అదే అది నేను బండిలో వల్ల నా స్కూటర్లో వెనక పక్క 2 దాంట్లో ఉన్నాయా? బండి తీసుకోవద్దా? బండి తీసుకుంటా ఇంటికి వస్తావు కదా, ఇంటికి రా.
Move to song.
సార్ జగన్ గారు మార్నింగ్
సార్ అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్ జగన్మోహన్ సార్ 1 minute నేను రిక్వెస్ట్ ఇస్తాను సార్.
ఓకే సార్. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ ఆల్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
రాజేష్ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ రాజేష్, విజయవాడలో ఉన్నావా?
అవును సార్.
ఓకే, వెరీ గుడ్ వెరీ గుడ్, థ్యాంక్ యూ. 9 and 9C వచ్చినాయి లేటెస్ట్.
ఏ సార్ 17, 19, 20
18,
19 అయిపోయినాయి కదా సార్. ఎప్పుడు
అయిపోయినాయి. ఈ మంత్ ఎండింగ్కి అయిపోద్ది. 19, 20 ఓకే. 19, 20 ఏదో కొన్ని వెబ్సైట్లో పెట్టారంటున్నారు.
ఓపెన్ చేశారు సార్. ఒక 4-5 days అయింది.
అది అన్ని అప్డేషన్ వచ్చిందా ఫుల్గా?
ఫైల్ చేసేసుకోవచ్చు.
ఓకే, ఇంకా మేము ఓపెన్ చేయలేదు అందుకని అడుగుతున్నాను.
ముందల 18, 19 కంప్లీట్ చేసేసి ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి 19,
18, 19 ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయినాయిలే.
అవునా?
అవునవును. ఇంకేంటి సంగతులు? ఎప్పుడు వస్తున్నారు ఒంగోలుకి?
పండక్కే సార్.
పండగకి వస్తున్నారా? ఓకే ఓకే. మరి పండగకి ఏమైనా ఫిజికల్ మీటింగ్ ఒకటి ఏమైనా పెట్టుకున్నావా?
పర్మిషన్ ఉందా సార్?
పర్మిషన్ ఉంది.
అవునా?
ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఇచ్చింది. మరి మన మెంబర్స్ ఎంతవరకు ఒప్పుకుంటారో ఒకసారి మెంబర్స్కి మీటింగ్లో మాట్లాడి ఐ విల్ లెట్ యు నో.
షూర్ సార్.
ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే చాలా రోజులు అయింది కదా ఫిజికల్ మీటింగ్. జనాలు కొంతమంది అడుగుతున్నారు, కొంతమంది ఏమైనా భయపడుతున్నారు. చిన్నగా స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే కదా ఫిజికల్ మీటింగ్కి మనకి కూడా ఈజీగా ఉంటుందని ఆలోచిస్తున్నారు మనోళ్ళు. ఓకే, ఇంకేంటి సంగతులు?
ఏం లేదు సార్, అదే సంగతులు.
మేము ఆఫీస్లో ట్యాక్స్ ఆడిట్ కదా చూసుకుంటా ఉన్నాము. అందుకని కొంచెం రోజు రైతే లేట్ అయిపోతా ఉంది.
హలో, చెప్పండి సార్. సార్ నేను లాగిన్ అయ్యాను, జగన్ గారితో మాట్లాడుతా ఉన్నాను.
ఫంట్లో యాడ్ చేసి
అయ్యో టైం పట్టిద్ది అయితే. ఓకే ఓకే.
ఇంకేంటి సంగతులు? ఇప్పుడు ఏంది లేటెస్ట్ బర్నింగ్ టాపిక్ ఏం జిఎస్టీలో? ఈ ఇన్వాయిస్ అయినా ఇంకేమైనా ఉన్నాయా?
QRMP
క్వార్టర్లీ అది ఎంతవరకు మనం ఫాలో కావాలో అర్థం కావట్లేదే.
ఎవరు చాలా తక్కువ మంది సార్ ఫాలో అవ్వట్లేదు. ఎవరు ఫాలో అవ్వట్లేదు, అందరూ మంత్లీ రేట్నే పెట్టుకుంటున్నారు. ఎందుకు తలనొప్పులని.
అదే మేము ఇంతకు ముందు నాకు పోయినసారి క్వార్టర్లీ రిటర్న్ పెడితే కొన్ని ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వచ్చినాయి.
బయ్యర్ ఏమో వచ్చి అడుగుతా ఉంటారు.
అదే అదే
సార్, గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
పేమెంట్ లేపే సార్. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
సార్ వెల్కమ్ టు ది సెషన్ సార్.
మార్నింగ్
సార్. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ గెలి గారు.
మార్నింగ్
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్ గిల్లి సార్. వెల్కమ్ టు ది సెషన్ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. బాగున్నారా?
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ గెల్లి సార్.
సార్
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ నరేష్ సార్.
సార్ నమస్తే అండి. యాక్చువల్లీ 3 branches తో చేయడం అనేది ఐ బీన్ ప్లానింగ్ ఫర్ క్వైట్ సమ్ టైమ్. మొత్తానికి ఇప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అయింది కదా. ఎలా ఉన్నారు జగన్ గారు?
బాగున్నాం సార్. అంత ప్రెజర్ ఒక్కసారి పడిపోయింది సార్ మన మీద.
అవునండి, అదే ఏదో ట్రై కూడా చేస్తున్నారు ప్రపోజల్ పోస్ట్పోన్మెంట్ కి.
ఓకే,
చూడాలి
సార్. పోస్ట్పోన్మెంట్ మరి ఇప్పుడే ఇస్తే ఇప్పుడు ఉన్న పెండింగ్ కూడా అయిపోతాయి సార్. ఇంకొక 1 week అయిన తర్వాత.
అవును, అంటే క్లయింట్స్ కి మనకన్నా ముందే తెలుస్తుంది.
పేపర్లు వేస్తారు సార్.
వాళ్ళే వచ్చి చెప్తారు సార్ పోస్ట్పోన్ అయింది, మళ్ళీ చూద్దాం లేని తొందర ఉంది.
అదే ఇప్పుడు 10 days ముందు
బిజీగా ఉంటాం సార్.
అవును,
మన వర్క్ లో మనం బిజీగా ఉంటే క్లయింట్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్ లో బిజీగా ఉండి మనకు అప్డేట్ ఇస్తుంటాడు ఫేస్బుక్ లో, వాట్సాప్ లో.
ఇప్పుడు ఎట్లయిపోయారంటే క్లయింట్స్ కూడా వాళ్ళు గూగుల్ మనకన్నా ఎక్కువ గూగుల్ చేసుకుంటుంటారు. వాళ్ళు వచ్చి మనకు సబ్జెక్ట్ చెప్తారు, ఎంట్రీలు ఎలా మనకు చెప్తారు, ఎగ్జామ్షన్స్. సో అది కూడా తెలియదండి మీకు అంటాడు. ఖతర్నాక్ ఉంటారు వీళ్ళంతా.
మీరు అప్డేట్ కావాలండి సార్ అంటున్నారు కొంతమంది.
అది అదిగోండి, ఇట్లాంటివన్నీ వస్తుంటాయి, తప్పదు. టెక్నాలజీ అనేది స్లోగా స్పీడ్ ఎక్కువైపోతా ఉంది.
అదే,
సో మనం కూడా పికప్ చేసుకోవాలి టెక్నాలజీని బాగా.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ నాయుడు గారు, తిరుపతి.
వెరీ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
సార్ నాయుడు గారు.
వెరీ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్. వెరీ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్ గిల్లి సార్.
మార్నింగ్.
వంశీ గారు వంశీ గారు వెరీ గుడ్ మార్నింగ్.
నమస్కారం సార్. యాక్చువల్లీ అందరి చైర్మన్లకి కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ చెప్పాలి.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
వండర్ఫుల్ ప్లాన్. సో పెండింగ్ ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్, మొత్తానికి స్టార్ట్ అయింది. వెరీ హ్యాపీ. ఇప్పుడు మేము కడప, కర్నూలు, అనంతపూర్ ఒక బ్యాచ్ ఉంది. ఆ తర్వాత కాకినాడ, రాజమండ్రి, వెస్ట్ గోదావరి ఒక గ్రూప్ అయింది. సో నెక్స్ట్ మీరు ముగ్గురు. సో ఇంకా చూడాలి, కరీంనగర్, వరంగల్ కూడా ఒక బ్యాచ్ అయింది. అప్పుడప్పుడు హైదరాబాద్ కలుస్తుంటున్నారు.
ఫిజికల్ మీటింగ్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతామేమో మా మెంబర్స్ పర్మిషన్ ఇస్తే జనవరి నుంచి
ఉంటుంది. బట్ అదొకటో రెండో పెట్టి మేజర్ ఇదే ఉంటుంది లేండి ఫర్ సమ్ మోర్ టైం.
సమ్ మోర్ టైం అంటే ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ అయినా రావాలి కదా సార్, ట్రావెల్ చేసి వాళ్ళకైనా ఇక్కడ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉంటాయి.
అదే 1-2 మీటింగ్స్ పెట్టొచ్చు మనం మంత్లీ కావాలంటే.
అంటే జస్ట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసాము అని చెప్పడానికి ఒక మీటింగ్ అయితే జనవరిలో ఒకటి హెల్డ్ చేద్దామని సార్.
చేయాలి. అవును, మీకు కూడా మళ్ళీ అవార్డ్ క్రైటీరియాలో కాంపిటీషన్స్ ఉంటాయి.
వంశీ సార్, దీని ఇనిషియేటివ్ వంశీదే సార్.
అవునా? వెరీ గుడ్.
అట్లేం లేదు సార్.
వెరీ గుడ్
సార్, మీ 2 బ్రాంచెస్ జాయిన్ కాకపోతే ఇనిషియేటివ్ తీసుకున్న ఉపయోగం లేదు కదా సార్.
అట్లా వంశీ ఇనిషియేటివ్ ముందు స్టార్ట్ అయ్యింది అంటే ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఎవరో ఒకరు జాయిన్ అవుతారు వంశీ.
అవును.
అందువల్ల దాని గురించి మనం వరి కావాల్సిన పని లేదు.
అయితే మాత్రం గెల్లి సార్కి ఇవ్వాలి సార్ క్రెడిట్. గెల్లి సార్ ప్రపోజ్ చేశారు, ఈ 3 బ్రాంచెస్ జాయింట్ గా నడిస్తే బాగుంటుంది అని.
అవునవును.
ఎందుకంటే మేము సమ్వేర్ ఇన్ జూలై అనుకుంటాను సార్, టీడీఎస్ మీద ఒక వెబినార్ రన్ చేసాము. అప్పుడు ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేశారు సార్ ఒపీనియన్. టైం పట్టింది.
అప్పుడప్పుడే ఆ 3 బ్రాంచ్లు అవన్నీ చేసేది అప్పుడే చేసుకు మొదలు పెట్టామన్నమాట. జూలై, ఆగస్టులో మొదలైంది స్ప్రింగ్. అప్పటి నుంచి బాగా పికప్ అయ్యి మధ్యలో లాస్ట్ 1 month నుంచి ఈ ఆడిట్లు, ట్యాక్స్ ఆడిట్లు అలా అందరూ బిజీ అయిపోయి ఇంకెవరు మీటింగ్లకి ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపెట్టాలి. సరే జనవరి తర్వాత చూద్దాంలే.
మీటింగ్ సార్, మన బ్రాంచ్లో 3rd మీటింగ్ సార్.
వెరీ గుడ్. సో నేను కూడా నాయుడు గారు వెనకాల పడేవండి, సార్ చేయండి.
యాక్చువల్గా మా తిరుపతి బ్రాంచ్ ఫిజికల్ గా సార్, మా తిరుపతి బ్రాంచ్ లాస్ట్ సండే ఫిజికల్ గా కలిసాం. మెంబర్స్ అంతా పెంచల్ కోన టెంపుల్కి వెళ్ళాం సార్. టెంపుల్కి వెళ్ళి మార్నింగ్ వెళ్ళి ఈవినింగ్ వచ్చాం సార్. 22 మెంబర్స్.
ఏ టెంపుల్ సార్?
పెంచల్ కోన, నెల్లూరు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ సార్. పెంచల్ కోన తెలియదు సార్ మాకు. ఓల్డ్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్. మార్నింగ్ వెళ్ళి ఈవినింగ్ వచ్చాం సార్. నైట్ వచ్చాం. వాటర్ ఫాల్స్ దర్శనం చేసుకున్నాం బాగా. వాటర్ ఫాల్స్ కూడా బాగా ఎంజాయబుల్ సార్. 21 మెంబర్స్ వచ్చారు, ఫ్యామిలీస్ పోయాము.
వెరీ గుడ్.
సార్ ఇంకొక 2 minutes ఉంది సార్ 11కి. 5కి అట్లా స్టార్ట్ చేసేస్తాం సార్.
నో ప్రాబ్లం.
అట్లా సార్.
ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్రొఫైల్ శంకర్ నారాయణ గారిది ఎవరు చదువుతారు
సార్? నేను చదివేస్తాను సార్.
ఓకే. నేను కొంచెం నాకు ఆయన 2003 నుంచి తెలుసు. తిరుపూర్ బ్రాంచ్ లో మేము రీజనల్ వెళ్ళినప్పుడు సుబ్బారావు గారు, తర్వాత శంకర్ నారాయణ గారిని కలిసాను అక్కడ. సో అప్పటి నుంచి తెలుసు నాకు 2003 or so.
డైనమిక్ పర్సనాలిటీ సార్.
అవునండి,
మన ప్రొఫెషన్ లో.
అవునండి, వెరీ ఫ్యూ పీపుల్.
నేను చాలా చిన్న ఏజ్ ఆయనతో పోల్చు, కానీ ఎప్పటికి వచ్చినా తిరుపతిలో కనబడితే ఆప్యాయంగా పలకరిస్తాడు సార్.
అవునవును. ఇది మెమోరియల్ లెక్చర్ అంటమా?
మెమోరియల్ లెక్చరే సార్.
సరే సార్. యాక్చువల్లీ మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, అంటే సజెషన్, మేక్ ఇట్ దిస్ ఇయర్లీ ఫీచర్ అండి. ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ ఒక మెమోరియల్ లెక్చర్ పెట్టండి ఆయన పేరులో.
ఎస్ సార్, ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ December 14th పెడతాం సార్. ఈసారి ఇంటర్నేషనల్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ ఉండేసరికి 14 to 19 ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అలౌ చేయలేదు సార్.
ఇవ్వలేదు.
అవును సార్. ఇనిషియల్ గా అయితే 2 బ్రాంచెస్ నుంచి మనకి 14th నాడ్ ఇచ్చేసారు సార్. ఓకే అని మిమ్మల్ని కూడా మేము 14th గా రిక్వెస్ట్ చేసాం.
అవునవును.
ఆ తర్వాత మళ్ళీ మనకి ప్రోగ్రామ్ బ్లాక్ చేసేసరికి ఆ డేట్స్ మనం 20th పుష్ చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది. ఇదే సార్ ఫస్ట్ వర్కింగ్ డే ఆఫ్టర్ బ్లాకింగ్. మనకి లక్కీగా సండే కలిసి వచ్చింది, అదే రోజు కండక్ట్ చేస్తాం. లాస్ట్ టైం కూడా మాకు గుర్తున్నంత వరకు మన రాజేష్ సారే మెమోరియల్ లెక్చర్ కి వచ్చారు సార్, జిఎస్టీ మీద టాపిక్ చెప్పారు కూడా.
అవును సార్, అవును. 990 తీసుకున్నాం సార్ అప్పుడు.
సార్ అవును సార్.
మహేష్ గారు స్పీకరా?
అవును సార్. సార్ మిమ్మల్ని నేను నక్కంటిలో కలిసాను సార్, నగేష్ సార్తో పాటు.
ఓ బాగున్నారా?
బాగున్నాను సార్.
గుడ్ గుడ్ గుడ్, వెరీ గుడ్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటుందండి ఫ్యూచర్ మనకి?
జిఎస్టీకి అయితే ప్రాబ్లం లేదు సార్.
బట్ ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే జిఎస్టీ టర్న్ ఓవర్ తీసుకుని ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ కూడా లింక్ చేసుకుంటారు. ఆల్రెడీ అవన్నీ లింక్ అయ్యాయి కదా, ఆర్ఓసి ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ అన్ని
అయిపోయినాయి సార్, మొత్తం లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ నుంచి మొత్తం అప్లోడ్
అయిపోయింది. సో ఈ జిఎస్టీ ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ వస్తే సర్వర్ బేస్డ్ ఉంటుంది, దాన్ని పట్టుకుని వాడు ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ అంటే దాన్ని పట్టుకుని ఆర్ఓసి అంటాడు. ఇవన్నీ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఉంటే మన రోల్ కొంచెం టైట్ అవుతుంది కదా.
అలా ఏం లేదు సార్, మనకి ఏ రోజు ఆ రోజు కొత్త ఇష్యూస్ వస్తానే ఉంటాయి.
రోజుకో అమౌంట్మెంట్ వచ్చే జిఎస్టీ సార్,
అంటే
ఆపర్చునిటీ అనేది ఎక్కడికి పోదు సార్.
కరెక్ట్, మనకి ఈ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఇట్లా స్పీకర్ గారు ఇస్తుంటే మనకి ఏంటంటే రేపు ఎలక్షన్ కోసం పోయినప్పుడు మళ్ళీ అందరూ సార్ మాకు జిఎస్టీ అని అడుగుతూ ఉంటారు.
సార్ 2006 లో కూడా కంప్యూటరైజేషన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఇంకేముంది, మొత్తం మనకి అసలు ప్రాక్టీస్ లేదు, మూసేసి వెళ్ళిపోవచ్చు అని చెప్పారు సార్. మేము 2009 కి వచ్చేసరికి మొత్తం ప్రాక్టీసే పూర్తిగా మారిపోయింది.
మాన్యువల్ బుక్స్ నుంచి
ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేని స్టేజ్ కి వచ్చేసాం మనం.
అదే మాన్యువల్ బుక్స్ నుంచి అంతా కంప్యూటరైజ్, ఇప్పుడు కంప్యూటర్ ఇప్పుడు నెక్స్ట్ లెవెల్ ఈ ఫేస్లెస్ అసెస్మెంట్ లో దాంట్లో వాళ్ళు ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ అకౌంటింగ్ ప్యాకేజీ లోడ్ చేయమంటున్నారు కదా. వెరిఫికేషన్ అప్పుడు మీరు పుస్తకాలు ఏం తీసుకురాకండి, అకౌంట్స్ అప్లోడ్ చేయండి, మేము చూసుకుంటాం అంటున్నారు.
5 years సార్, నా ఎస్టిమేషన్ కరెక్ట్ అయితే అసలు బుక్స్ కూడా మొత్తం ఆన్లైన్ లో మెయింటైన్ చేయమని అడిగిన ఆశ్చర్యం లేదు సార్.
కరెక్ట్, ఇది వచ్చిందంటే నెక్స్ట్ అదే వస్తుంది. సేల్స్ పర్చేసెస్ అక్కడ వచ్చేసినప్పుడు ఇంకేముంది కొట్టరా అంటాడు. అయిపోయింది, వాడు సర్వర్ పెద్ద సర్వర్లు తీసుకొచ్చేసి మొత్తం అకౌంటింగ్ అక్కడే చేయండి, మీరు రిటర్న్ ఫైల్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, మేము అక్కడ చూసుకుంటాంలే.
సార్ ఏం ఆశ్చర్యం లేదు సార్.
అంటే అక్కడ ఇప్పుడు మన వాళ్ళు 44 ADలు ఇవన్నీ 9%, 8%, 10% వేసే వాళ్ళందరూ ఖచ్చితంగా దొరికిపోతారు దొంగ బిల్లులు వేసేకరా.
అప్పుడు ఇంకా ఆపర్చునిటీస్ పెరుగుతాయి సార్.
ఎట్లా
బేసిస్ లో రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఉంటుంది వాళ్ళకి.
అది డైలీ అవదు
సార్. అరుణ్, హలో అరుణ్
సార్. ఈ మధ్య దేవరాజరెడ్డి గారు ఏదో ఒకటి ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ తీసేస్తారని ఒక వాట్సాప్ మెసేజ్ వచ్చింది సార్, నిజమేనా అది?
అది ఆయన గొంతు కాదు.
అవునా? ఆయన ఫోటో పెట్టి పంపించారు,
ఆయన ఫోటో పెట్టి వేరే వాళ్ళు గొంతు పెట్టి పంపించారు. ఈయన ఏదో కొంచెము అదేంటారు నెగిటివ్ చేద్దామని ఎక్కడో టైట్ చేశాడు స్టాఫ్ మెంబర్. అప్పుడు ఒకసారి బాగా టైట్ చేశాడు అనమాట, November, December లో లాస్ట్ ఆయన ప్రెసిడెంట్ గా ఉన్నప్పుడు. ఆ స్టాఫ్ వాళ్ళు తయారు చేశారు ఇదంతా. అది ఎవరి దగ్గర పోయి తీసేయగలవు, తీయలేము, సాఫ్ట్వేర్ సర్క్యులేషన్ లో ఉంటుంది, అది అలా తిరుగుతూ ఉంది అనమాట. మన స్టాఫ్ కూడా ఎట్లా ఉంటారంటే ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో చేయాలంటే ఏమన్నా చేయగలరు వాళ్ళు.
సార్ వంశీ గారు కొంచెం స్క్రీన్ షేర్ ఎనేబుల్ చేయరా?
శ్రావణ్
చేస్తున్నాను సార్.
ఓకే శ్రావణ్.
ఇప్పుడు రాజేష్ గారు మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ ఎక్కడ, నెల్లూరా ఎక్కడ?
విజయవాడ సార్, హిరగంగి అండ్ అసోసియేట్స్ లో సార్.
హిరగంగిలో ఉన్నారా?
విజయవాడ బ్రాంచ్ ఇన్ఛార్జ్ సార్ ఇతను.
వెరీ గుడ్ వెరీ గుడ్.
అనిల్ ఏమన్నా వైజాగ్ బ్రాంచ్, మొన్నటిదాకా మనోడు వైజాగ్ లో ఉండి ఇప్పుడు విజయవాడ బ్రాంచ్ ఇన్ఛార్జ్ గా వచ్చేసాడు.
వాళ్ళు చాలా స్పెషలైజ్డ్ ఇంటూ జిఎస్టీ, చాలా డీప్ గా ఉంటారు.
ఒంగోలు సార్.
సార్
రాజేష్ ఒంగోలు నుంచే.
అవునా? వెరీ గుడ్ వెరీ గుడ్. మాకు ఇక్కడ సుధీర్ ఉన్నాడు, బాగా ఎప్పుడు కావాలంటే అప్పుడు ఎనీ డౌట్, ఎనీ మీటింగ్, వెరీ షార్ట్ నోటీస్ అయినా ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ అంటే తక్కువ వచ్చేస్తారు. చాలా బాగుంది గ్రిప్ వాళ్ళకి. మధుకర్ గారు కూడా వెరీ ప్రొఫెషనల్. మీటింగ్స్ లో మేము కలుస్తుండే వాళ్ళం కదా బాగా.
లోకల్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ ఒకళ్ళు ఉంటే మంచిదిలే సార్, ఎప్పుడైనా అత్యవసరం అయితే.
ఉండాలి. సార్ స్టార్ట్ చేద్దామా?
స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాం సార్. అరుణ్ 11:05 అయిపోయింది అరుణ్, స్టార్ట్ చేసేద్దాము. Arun? Hello, Arun? సార్ ఏదో నెట్వర్క్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉన్నట్టుంది సార్. నేను చెప్పేస్తానండి సార్. On behalf of Nellore branch, Ongole branch and Tirupati branch, I welcome all the members for today's webinar on e-invoicing on GST. First of all, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Naresh Chandra Gelli sir, for today's webinar. I also like to welcome our today's faculty, Mr. Madhya Rajesh sir, partner of Hiragangi, to our today's webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Before proceeding with the webinar, I request our institute branch AO to play the motto song. I request all the members to please raise them for the occasion.
Yaesha sukteshu jagrati, Yaesha sukteshu jagrati, Kamam 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 kamamsho pursho nirvimanaha nirvimanaha, Tadeva shukram tada brahma tada brahma, Tadeva amritamuchyate, Tasmin lokaha shataha, Sarve tadunatyati kaschana etadvaita 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 etadvaita.
Thank you, members. As a small tribute to the services rendered by our past chairman, A. Shankar Narayan Garu, every year on 14th December, we are conducting a seminar. As the branches were not allowed to conduct this seminar from 14th December to 19th December due to international conference, the memorial lecture is being held today. Sri Mr. Amanchala Shankar Narayan Garu was born on 2nd June 1956 to Sri Ramadha Rao and Kamalamma. He has completed his BCom in VR College in the year 1975 and done his BL in the year 1986 from VR College. He completed his CA course in the year 1989. As stated, and started his own practice, which continued till 2002. In the year 2002, he joined as a partner in B. Sarath Babu & Co. Chartered Accountant Associates. During his college days in VR College, he was very active in ABBP during 1970 to 1975. He was the Nellore City Secretary of ABBP in 1973 to 1973 and District Organizing Secretary from 1973 to 77 and also the State Executive Committee member of ABBP during the period from 1974 to 75. He was actively engaged in anti-emergency activities and was arrested many times. He has worked as a member of state-level anti-emergency Sangarshana Samiti. A unexecuted MISA warrant was pending against him in the last days of emergency. He has worked closely with our Honorable Minister, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, ABBP during his college days. He worked in Janata Party and actively associated with BJP in different responsibilities. He has worked as a City General Secretary, State Council member. Mr. Shankar Narayan Garu was appointed as a co-convener of CSL of BJP at national level during the year 2006 and 7. He was a Kriyashila member of party since the inception. He has contested for Nellore Municipal Council in the year 1989 as a ward councillor. He has contested for Legislative Assembly of AP from Nellore City Assembly Constitution in the year 1994 as a party candidate. He was the founding General Secretary of Sri Ranganath Dharma Pariraksha Samiti, an organization promoted for safeguarding the properties and interest of many renowned temples in Nellore district. He has initiated many public interest litigations in civil courts, agitation for the above cases, and protected the assets worth crores of rupees. He was the first chairman of Nellore branch of ICA of SIRC and instrumental in constructing the own building of ICA at Venkatachalam. He was appointed as the co-opted member in the Committee of Cooperative Societies and NPOs in the year 2016 and 17. He fought against the old management of VR College, a 100-year-old institute, and taken up legal proceedings in the district court and represented as a representative of old boys in the year 1987. After 30 years of legal battle with the VR College management, finally in the year 2017, Honorable High Court of Andhra Pradesh has delivered judgment in favor of the old boys and ordered for elections for new management. The case went up to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has delivered the same judgment on February 2019. On 13/12/2018, he was admitted in the hospital due to his ill health, and in the early hours of 14th December, Sir has expired. Every year on this day, to remind his services to the branch, we are organizing a memorial lecture to our members. Without no further time, we would like to proceed to today's VCM. Dear members, E-invoicing is mandatory for our clients having turnover more than 100 crores with effect from 1st January 2021. And for every assessee, it is mandatory from 1st April 2021. So in this backdrop, there is a need for us to gear up for this topic on what is invoicing, how it should be generated, what were the waybills, what is the position of waybills in the invoicing, whether e-invoicing is applicable for B2C sales also. And there are many doubts relating to this. I hope this session will help us to go through all these concepts of e-invoicing and key points to be kept in mind for implementing e-invoices to our SSE. I would like to remind the members to please check whether the membership fee and COP fee for the year 1920 has been paid up. If it is not paid, the last date was extended till 31st December 2020. I request the member, please check it once. Without any further delay, I request our branch secretary, Mr. Arun Kumar, to please carry on the proceedings. Arun? Arun, are you there? Sir, maybe due to network error, Arun might have been not able to participate. Now I request our branch past chairman, Mr. Chandramouli Garu, to please speak on behalf of Shankar Narayan Garu. Sir, Chandramouli sir, are you there, sir? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Chandramouli sir, login avale sir.
Login avale, sir. Now I request our Ongole branch chairman, Mr. Satyanarayan sir, to please introduce our chief guest to our gathering.
Good morning to the today's chief guest, Sri C.A. Naresh Chandra Gelli Garu, today's speaker Sri A. Matri Rajesh Garu, chairmen of Nellore and Tirupati branches, and all our fellow members in the profession. Good morning to everyone. This is my privilege to introduce Sri C.A. Naresh Chandra Gelli Garu to this live webinar. Naresh Chandra Gelli Garu qualified CA in the year 1992. He did his articleship in Messrs. PVRK Nageswara Rao and Company, Hyderabad. He is in the practice from 1992. He signed the 100th balance sheet of Indian Bank as statutory central auditors in the year 2007. He had good experience in public sector units audits, bank audits, statutory audits of companies. He is in the ICAI activities since 1994. He was in the regional council from 2006 to 2019 and now again from 2018 to 21, and also he is the chairman of Direct Taxes Committee of SIRC of ICAI in the year 2020-21. He has completed the certificate course on concurrent audit, FAFD, and also qualified and independence director exam, and now pursuing valuation course. He is also a member of the Federation of Telangana Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the year 2019 to 21. He was the president of Hyderabad Management Association during the year 2010-2011. Finally, his parents' grandfather, late Sri Gelli Narayan Chetty, IAS, was district collector in Kannur district in the year 1960s and retired as endowment commissioner of AP. His elder daughter is a CA and younger daughter is pursuing his BBA in Symbiosis College, Pune. With this small introduction, I am introducing CA Sri Naresh Chandra Gelli Garu to the today's live webinar. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful introduction. Now I request our Naresh Chandra Gelli, sir, our chief guest, to please address the gatherings. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek Krishna Garu. Morning to the chairmen of the three branches, CA Vamsi Krishna Garu, CA Satyanarayan Garu, and CA Naidu Garu, and all the members present here for this webinar this morning. It's indeed a great honor that we are having this webinar in the memorial lecture series of in the memory of CA A. Shankar Narayan Garu. I know CA Shankar Narayan Garu from the time of 2000, from the year 2003 and 4, when I met him for the first time along with Subbarao Garu in Tirupur, when he came for the regional conference of Tirupur. The chairman was from Tirupur, so it was held there. So I met him for the first time, and I think that was the time when we were also discussing about the CA chapter, CA, what do you call CA, maybe the division or thing in the BJP office then, at that point of time. And I think he was instrumental in creating that CSL. In fact, there is a CSL in Hyderabad also in the BJP office. And also I remember very well, he was very particular and very keen on having a branch of ICA at Nellore, and he was interacting with us at regional council and interacting with the institute Delhi office on a regular basis. He fought for it, and once the branch was approved, we had a very grand occasion, and also for the building. So I was there for the foundation, I was there for the inauguration, and I'm sure if you see my name is on the name board there, inaugural plaque there. So I was the first ex officio chairman of ex officio member of Nellore branch. So I'm very happy to be back to Nellore branch as a chief guest for the seminar. With regard to again continuing with Shankar Narayan Garu, he had he's actually a frank speaker. He doesn't mince words. If he has to say something, he would say point blank. And also he would convince his point of view to all the people in the best interest of the profession and the entire institute. So there's nothing wrong in that. He has a view and he ensures that he tries to convince them, and that's how it goes. The ICA has lost a great soldier, and it's a great tribute that we are having a memorial lecture in his name today. So I pray God that his Atma is safe and happier, what do you call, merged with the blessings of at the lotus feet of God. And I pray for his soul to be resting in peace. Now coming to the today's lecture on topic on e-invoicing in GST. As I was just trying to understand what is e-invoicing and in the GST. So the amount of horizon which I found was tremendously high. This is the beginning of huge technology shift that is going to happen. Slowly, we had income tax from a stage where manual interaction was there with the department, which is now moved on to the E-Invoice, faceless assessments and few things like that. Now, from a stage where we were having a manual stage in terms of accounting, we came to computerized accounting. And in the stage where we were having GST or turnover, these things in terms of, say, in terms of generating invoice and computerized bill to system-based, now system-based to a base where government is going to give you a server and telling all the registered dealers to raise a bill there online. And in this process, friends, what I would see is once the turnover is accounted or turnover is given, details of turnovers are given in the income tax server, GST server on online basis, or if I can use the word dynamic basis, what will happen, I foresee is from there, the income tax can also say you don't need to file your income tax. We know what is your sales, we know what is your purchases, and everything has to go through the GST. So that's probably the GST, the focus will shift from income tax to GST turnovers, and based on which, as of now, they have linked up income tax, ROC, and GST in terms of companies. So they may also link up other situations. It's only a matter of time that there could be so many changes that can happen in terms of this technological advancements, and the future of a profession is what I'm looking at. So what is the role of a chartered accountant in a situation like this in terms of accounting, in terms of filing, in terms of interaction with our clients? And I'm sure the speaker would take us through a lot of details and explain us as to how this situation is going to be, and what is our role, what is our situation, and how do we, what do we need to be updated? Is it that we just interact with the client, or what is it additional niche thing which we should improve our skill and learn? In addition, one thing for sure we all have to do is we have to improve our skill in terms of technology. We cannot be depending or basically on general knowledge we have. We should also go through some specialized trainings. And I'm sure the technology will play a major role in months and years to come. So I think this is a broad view which I thought I would like to share up, and request all the members to see what are all the areas where they can probably improve their skill. And unless we improve our skill, probably the competition will drive us out of the profession. So I would suggest all the members first to start, as CA Vamsi Krishna Garu said, first pay up the membership, and also encourage and inform all the members who have not paid, or members who have not registered to register, because the institute is coming up with something which for a long time was not imaginable. They're coming up with something called people who don't renew or recognize or register. Institute is coming up with a proposal to have a exam. After having passed CA, again writing an exam is very difficult. So they are proposing to do that. So in fact, the fees is very nominal, friends, 1,500 rupees to max 2,000 rupees if you don't have COP. So please encourage all your friends, and I'm sure all the chairmen, 3 chairmen in this meeting, I've got list from the institute, list of all the members who have passed, and all the students who have passed and not become member, and all the members who have not renewed. So please pursue, follow up, ensure that we get all the data, all the people updated in their status. So that will help us to be ready for all these things. And subsequently, in terms of DSA is one good qualification, and couple of other qualifications, if you are interested, probably please pursue and be ready to face. I foresee a huge demand for us only if they are well recognized and well qualified in terms of this technology front also. Institute is anyway giving a lot of support in terms of the various CP hours and topics, but additionally this technology is also important. I'm sure the speaker would take us through all these details, and I'd like to thank the chairmen, all the chairmen, 3 chairmen who are here. Vamsi Krishna Garu, Naidu Garu, and Satyanam Garu for giving me this opportunity to be here as a chief guest for this webinar. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is our pleasure to have such a nice person as a chief guest for our program, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your wonderful words, sir. Now I request Tirupati branch chairman Sudarshan Naidu Garu to please introduce our faculty M. Rajesh Garu to the audience. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Om Namo Venkatesaya. Good morning to all. On behalf of Tirupati, Nellore and Ongole branches, I am so honored to welcome our respectable speaker, CA Rajesh Maddi Garu. Rajesh Maddi is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and associate member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Also a qualified company secretary. He is an outstanding performer throughout his academic and secured all India ranks. He is one of the faculties of GST training selected by the Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI. He was also a member of User Acceptance Test UAT team of GSTN, Goods and Service Tax Network. He has headed various GST impact assessments on various industries during the implementation of GST. He is an active contributor of articles to GST Law Times and other leading websites relating to various indirect tax topics. Currently, heading Vijayawada branch of a leading chartered accountancy firm practicing in indirect taxes. He is an active speaker in seminars organized by branches, chapters of ICAI and study circles. Thank you very much, sir, for this opportunity, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable introduction. Now I request our today's faculty, Madhi Rajesh Garu, to please continue on the topic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sudarshan sir, for the introduction.
Thank you.
One more. Thank you, Vamshi sir, and also all the three branches for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts on this topic of e-invoicing under GST. So this is the second time I'm speaking in this memorial lecture. The first time when I spoke, I think I spoke it on 9 and 9C, maybe around that, I think 2 years back. So this is the second time. So okay, we'll speak some basic aspects of e-invoicing, maybe around for 1 hour. I think the session is up to 1 o'clock. So I think being a Sunday, the first success we already achieved, when even the Sunday we are able to spend 2 hours for this session means half of the success there only. The balance half I can able to complete it. Maybe around 1 hour I will be taking care of like the legal aspects or technical aspects of e-invoicing. Balance around 15 minutes we'll do a few e-invoices online, and maybe around 15 minutes we'll take question and answers. I have already covered maybe around some 30-40 questions in the end of my presentation. I'll go through those questions also. If still any of your question like didn't cover in my questions, so you can chat. You can put those questions in chat box. I'll be mostly revert on those questions. సో అందరూ మనోళ్ళే కాబట్టి నేను మధ్య మధ్యలో తెలుగు కూడా యూస్ చేస్తాను. సో విల్ డూ మిక్స్ లాంగ్వేజ్. సో తెలుగు
మొత్తం తెలుగులో చెప్పినా మాకు అబ్జెక్షన్ లేదు సార్.
సో ఓకే, నో ఇష్యూ. సో రైట్ సార్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఆల్రెడీ మనము ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ ఆల్రెడీ చేస్తున్నాం కదా, మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ ఏంది? సో ఇది నేను ఈ స్లైడ్ ఎందుకు పెట్టానంటే, సో ఇదేమి టీచింగ్ సెషన్ ఏం కాదు. సో మీకు ఎక్కడ డౌట్ వస్తే అక్కడ ఆపండి, ఎక్కడ ఏమొస్తే లైక్ ఎక్కడ ఏమన్నా మీకు అర్థం కాకపోయినా ఆ స్లైడ్ ఆపితే నేను అది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. సో ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు యూ పీపుల్ టు ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఇన్ దిస్ సెషన్. సో సిన్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ ఓన్లీ అరౌండ్ 40 members only, na? So it won't take much time. If you get any issue, I'll clarify that doubt and we'll forward the session. సో మనం ఆల్రెడీ ఇన్వాయిస్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా, మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ ఏంటిది? సో మనం ఆల్రెడీ మన ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ అంటే ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్. సో ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ అంటే ఆల్రెడీ మనం సిస్టంలో చేస్తున్నది ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మోడ్ ద్వారానే కదా. సో మళ్ళీ కొత్తగా ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ ఏంటిది? సో మనం ఆల్రెడీ చేసేది డిజిటల్ ఇన్వాయిస్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్. సో ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ అనేది సపరేట్ గా గవర్నమెంట్ ఒక ప్రాసెస్ చెప్పింది. ఈ ఇన్వాయిసింగ్ అంటే ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో ఉండిద్ది, ఈ విలువలు చేయాలి. సో వీళ్ళు ఎగ్జామ్షన్ ఇచ్చారు.
సార్ ఏం లేదు సార్, పోర్ట్ నుంచి కూడా ఒక 2-3 మెంబర్స్ జాయిన్ అయి ఉన్నారు సార్. వాళ్ళు కొంచెం మిక్స్డ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ వాడండి అని రిక్వెస్ట్ చేస్తున్నారు సార్, ఇంగ్లీషు తెలుగు రెండు మిక్స్డ్ గా. ఫర్ బెటర్ బెనిఫిట్ ఆఫ్ మెంబర్స్ మీరు సజెస్ట్ చేసిన మెథడే బెటర్ అయ్యేటట్టుంది సార్.
షూర్ సార్, నో ఇష్యూ సార్. ఓకే సార్. Then I'll use mostly English only. So wherever one or two things, like wherever required, I'll use Telugu. So mostly I'll use English only. Thank you, sir. So anyhow, we are using presently, we are filing these invoices digitally. What is this something concept of e-invoicing? And one more question you may ask, sir, this is for those whose turnover is more than 100 crores. That's what we heard. So why we need to attend this session? None of our clients are having more than 100 crores turnover, sir. Only few people only having whoever clients are there. In our case, we are having less than 100 crores only. Then is there any need for us to go for this session and all? So obviously yes, the answer is so, because even though presently the turnover is 100 crores, but from 1st April 2021, they are planning to keep this e-invoicing concept for those whose turnover is more than 5 crores or for all B2B suppliers. There are two plans are there. Still nothing is confirmed. The plans is that maybe around at least they'll keep it for more than 5 crores for all B2B supplies, or for all B2B supplies irrespective of your turnover. They are planning to implement this e-invoicing. Sir, anyhow GST means postponement. So anyhow many cases they postponed. Why can't they postpone this? Mostly they know for postponement, because if you see the previous experience and all, most of the cases they postponed. I agree with that. But as far as e-invoicing is concerned, that also postponed many times. But when it comes to 1st October 2020, for those whose turnover is more than 500 crores, people thought that they will be postponing this e-invoicing because most of the players are not ready. So this time they didn't postpone. So they implemented with effect from 1st October 2020, but they gave relaxation of 1 month. So they have given a relaxation for 1 month. Though for the sales which you have made it in October, you will be getting 1 month time to generate e-invoices for the invoices you have generated in October month. So clear it. So they don't want to postpone it. So they may mostly they may give under exceptional thing. They may give maybe around 1 month time, like last time what is happened. So more or less for those whose turnover is more than 100 crores, they are going to implement it from 1st January 2021. So be it ready. So the chances of extension or postponement is very less. So at least what they can do, at most what they can do, they can give a relaxation of 1 more month, like how they gave you. So even if none of your clients are having more than 100 crores turnover, so it is not going to waste for you. Whatever, if you know the legal provisions, it would be compulsory for the most of the SSCs or all the SSCs, all the regular taxpayers from 1st April 2021. So this is my talk on this e-invoicing, how it will in future. So considering this, we will go forward. So no, we know most of our when we are charging, we'll be using these many types of charges. I think in India we would be using generally type D. So why this slide I kept? So why this slide I kept means, so the problem is we know in mobile phones we'll be using many types of charges. We will use type C charges, we will use iPhone charger, we will use small pin charger. So why we are using these many types of chargers? So can we use one charger for all things? No. Why? So because the formats are different for different chargers. So the same thing presently what is happening in India. So for example, if I'm using Tally, the output what I get it from Tally, and you are using SAP or you are using Oracle, you are using something Microsoft Navigator. So maybe most of you people are in India, hundreds of people are using hundreds of accounting software. So whatever output given by my Tally won't be able to understand by your Java or Microsoft Navigator, whatever you are using. That means, or whatever output given by SAP may not be understood by our Tally. So understood means, there should be I'm talking about output means not the PDF which you generated from the system. I'm talking about the electronic output. So whatever the data output, whatever given by SAP is not able to understand by Tally, or whatever data output given by Tally not able to understand by Microsoft Navigator. So this is the present situation which is happening in India. So the one E-Invoice is the platform wherein they have specified few particulars which should be compulsory for any invoice you need to generate. It should be in that format only. You can't have some other format for generating of invoice. So you presently will be having so many invoices. So few people will be having batch details. Few people won't be having batch details. So presently in invoice we'll be having so many types of invoices. But by considering this e-invoicing, so the government wants to bring all the players to single platform. So they have prescribed a format in which e-invoice should be there. So you need to put all your data in that format only. So the output given by one system can able to understand by other system. That is how they plan. So this is the one conceptual change which you are going to get it through invoicing, which makes transaction cost very lower. So and also the reconciliations much more easier, and also the input of data will make it error free. So if you manually, if you are inputting some data, it will take some errors. But if you are getting through online, whatever the invoice generated by your vendor, if you can able to get it and your system able to update based on the invoice generated by your supplier, means that you need not to physically input. You just need to verify and you just need to click it OK. Then it directly will be, your data would be imported to your system. This is how this new invoices is going to commit in future. So when speaking, Naresh sir told that like in the starting, Naresh sir told that in future we would be giving all our data to income tax department or government's website only. Then only from one department to other department data will flow. So presently already few things are happening. So whatever data you are uploading in GST returns, it is being auto-populated in your 26 years. And also whatever data you are giving it in the MCA, as far as companies are concerned, it would be populating in whatever other government's websites. So this is the state of affairs presently. So in future, the extent of what people are telling that you need not to file GST returns at all. So I'm thinking, what is people, what is the role of chartered accountants? The extent what they are thinking, what CBSE head told maybe around 15 days back, that you need not to file returns. How come we need not to file returns? Means how this payment window will happen. So what they are planning in such a way. So once you upload all your output supplies and when you upload all your input supplies, so directly system will calculate the tax needs to be payable. So that would be linked to your bank account, like how your EMI will get debited to your bank account. The same that amount of tax liability is going to debited to your bank account. So this is how what they planned. But considering India's situations, it may take more than 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. So nonetheless, we'll keep that aside, and we'll see how our e-invoicing will happen now and then. So first thing, many people are thinking that the first myth, what I can say, many people are thinking that e-invoicing means we need to generate invoice in government portal. We need to generate invoice in government portal. The first myth I wish to clarify that. So whatever accounting software we are using, we still continue to use that accounting software. So there is no need to change your accounting software. So no need to change any accounting software. You can continue to use your accounting software. E-invoice is nothing but whatever invoices you have generated, you are giving those details to government. So government will go through those details and acknowledge that, okay, boss, I have received this data, so I am giving acknowledgement. So this is the only thing. So it is not creation of invoice in e-invoice portal. It is only intimation. Whatever invoice you have generated, you are intimating in government website. You got my point? So if you go through the website also, whatever output they're going to get it, IRN, invoice registration number, not invoice creation number. You got my point? So when you, whatever invoice you have given, when your invoice you have generated using your accounting software, the data of invoice, if you update it to the portal of e-invoicing portal, the government will verify whatever data you have given. It will check few primary aspects, then they will put one tapal and they will give back to you. So that tapal is called IRN, the tapal is called QR code. So in simple words, very simple words, what I can say, we need to file one letter with the department. What we'll do, we'll draft the letter, everything, we'll draft the letter, and we'll get it sent from the client, and we'll go to the department. Sir, this letter we need to file it. Okay, and he will go through that letter, and what he will say. So, okay, sir, I will take in letter. Then what you will ask, sir, give me acknowledgement. So then what that fellow will see the date, and he'll put one tapal, and he'll give back the acknowledgement to you. So why this is the simple process? The same thing is happen in case of e-invoicing also. So once you gave your invoice details to e-invoice portal will verify the information. They'll put that tapal. The tapal is nothing but QR code and also IRN number, and they'll give back that invoice to you. So this is a simple way I can able to explain e-invoicing. So it is only intimation of your invoice. You yourself will prepare in your accounting package, and you will update that information in e-invoice portal. I'll show how that e-invoice portal works. Everything I'll show it maybe around at the last of the session. Like maybe we'll take around 15-20 minutes for that generation of e-invoice and all. Okay, sir. For whom and all this e-invoice applicable? So this e-invoicing is applicable, as we got to know, for those whose turnover is more than 500 crores, it is applicable from 1st October 2020. For those whose turnover is more than 100 crores, it is applicable from 1st Jan 2021. And also for this is the last one is the expectation. This last one is expectation, and from 1st April 2021. So it is for all B2B supplies or those whose turnover is more than 5 crores. Sir, here what does it mean by turnover? So I want to explain what does it mean by turnover. Means the turnover of previous 3 years. That means maybe whether it is 17-18 or 18-19 or 19-20. If your turnover is more than, so turnover means not GST based turnover, PAN based turnover. So you mean to say aggregate turnover. So if your turnover is more than 500 crores in any of these 3 years, or if your turnover is more than 100 crores in any of these 3 years, you need to follow. Sir, my turnover all the 3 years is less than 100 crores. This year is more than 100 crores. So actually, as per the provisions, you need not to follow. But I suggest to go for e-invoicing because of the benefits what I'm going to explain. It is as early as possible if you go for e-invoicing. So you will have separate benefits. So you would be having time saving, so much time saving at the time of return filing. So this is the what applicable date. So what is the present status? So present status, it is around 33,000 registered payers are already generated e-way bill, e-invoicing in the portal. So there are a few ways of generation of e-invoicing, whether it is API based or offline tool based or GST based and all. So presently trial version is enabled for those whose turnover is more than 100 crores. If you want, you can go and log in. You get login from website. You can try it on a sample basis. So if you see the statistics, around 85% of people are using API based and 15% of people are using offline tool. So I'll explain what is offline tool and what is API thing and all. So as I explained, e-invoicing is a system in which B2B invoices are authenticated. So it is only applicable for B2B. It is only applicable for B2B and also exports. Exports being added in the last minute. But what they planned is earlier is only for B2B supplies, and also exports also applicable for exports also is applicable for this e-invoicing. So e-invoicing is applicable for B2B invoices and also exports. You need to keep it. In case of B2C supplies, e-invoicing is not applicable. So B2C supplies, no e-invoicing. As of now, no e-invoicing. So once you update that data, what you are going to get back? So you are once you update that data in the invoice registration portal, you will be getting invoice registration number. So that tuple, what they are giving to give you, the acknowledgement, what they are going to give you, will have one IRN number. IRN number, they will having 64-digit alphanumeric number would be there, and also they will give quick QR code. What you general will understand QR code, the same quick response code they would be giving. So one more advantage is whatever data you are uploading in e-invoice portal, the same data will get auto populated on real time basis in e-way bill portal also. One more facility they have given, you can generate e-way bill also at the time of e-invoicing. So straight away you need not to bother, you straight away generate e-way bill after generating e-invoicing. One more extra thing, whatever data you updated in e-invoice portal, it will be carry forwarded to your GSTN portal. That means in your table 4A, 4B of GSTR1, the data what you uploaded in e-invoice, it will be auto populated in your GSTR1. So one extra benefit is you need not to separately log into e-way bill portal. Directly after generation of e-invoice, when you have the vehicle details, you can fill the part B of e-way bill. Part A is already filled by way of details they're getting from e-invoice at the time of the data what we have given at the time of generation of e-invoice. The same data will be populated in part A. Once we have details of vehicle details, we can fill the part B and we can generate e-invoicing. And also whatever details of e-invoicing, the data what you fed it in e-invoicing will be auto populated to your GSTN portal. The GSTN portal also, your GSTR1 half of the data will get, all B2B supplies data will get auto filled in your GSTR1. So any doubt till now? So so if you have any doubt till now, so I can able to explain that. So if you can stop me at any time. So objectives of e-invoicing. So this is the one thing what I explained. So as I explained, this is a standard format across the country. So as I explained the starting, one output given by one software system can able to understand. So that is the one whole India one standard format they are planning to keep through, get through this e-invoicing. Real-time reporting of GST portal into GSTR returns. So that is one extra thing. So easily readable. So by seeing that QR code, you can able to read it. So they have given few apps, 2 apps for Android and also iPhone. If you can scan the QR code, you will able to get the data what is there in that e-invoicing. So that normal this is the one extra advantage of this e-invoicing. So using this e-invoicing, we can reduce fake trading. This is one big advantage to the government. So easily ITC matching. So presently we are doing so many reconciliations. So this once system itself updates in B2B column of this thing, so buyer also will be able to see it in 2A of his GST or 2A. Then there won't be any like a manual entry in null. So since there is less manual entry, the amount of errors also will get reduced. So these are the notifications what they have given. So we'll see one by notification how they have worded and what is the implication of each notification. So this is the first notification. So if you can able to see, there is a change in Rule 48 of CGST rules. So here it talks about the invoice shall be prepared by such class of registered person. This such class of registered person, they have told that it is more than 500 crores from 1st October 2020. It is more than 100 crores from 1st January 2021. As may be notified by the government and the government recommendation of the course by including such particulars contained in GST INV1 after obtaining an invoice reference number by uploading the information contained therein on the Common Goods and Service Tax portal in such manner subject to conditions as mentioned. So if you see it here, what they are saying, you need to obtain invoice reference number by uploading the information. So I am just one more time repeating, I'm repeating many times. It is not creation of invoice in the GST portal. It is only uploading the information contained in the invoice and getting the invoice reference number. So the said rule, next rule, every invoice issued by a person to whom sub-rule 4 applies in any manner other than the manner specified in the sub-rule shall not be treated as invoice. So even though the small sub-rule 5 is having only 2 lines, the impact is very wide. How come the impact is very wide if you ask me? So what they're saying, if you raise any invoice other than rule 4, it is not treated as invoice at all. So what does it mean? What does it mean by? What does it mean by means, for example, my turnover is more than 100 crores. So on 2nd January, the 1st January onwards, invoice applicable for first like 100 crores, more than 100 crores. So my turnover is more than 100 crores, e-invoicing is applicable to me. Then what I haven't followed this e-invoice provisions and simply I have given normal invoice. Presently how I am giving invoice plus e-way bill also I have given to my customer. So my customer, whatever invoice I have given, if it is not e-invoice, what it is only just piece of paper. He can't take credit based on the piece of paper. My customer, if he wants to take credit on my invoice, that means those whose turnover is more than 100 crores. So if I am complying e-invoice, then only my customer able to take credit on my invoice. If I am not complying any invoice provisions, then my customer can't able to take any input tax credit. So those who are thinking, sir, my customer's turnover is less than 100 crores, sir, why this session is useful to me? So if you ask me, this is the one provision because of which your customer would be buying goods from those whose turnover is more than 100 crores. If your customer doesn't ensure that his vendor doesn't comply this provision, whatever credit availed by our customer is not at all eligible credit. So we need to categorize all our vendors. We need to categorize all our vendors for whom e-invoice is applicable, for whom e-invoice is not applicable. So if possible, it is better if you can get a declaration from your vendor saying that since our turnover is less than 100 crores, e-invoicing is not applicable. You see the consequences of this. If your e-invoicing is applicable, but he has not uploaded e-invoicing, means that GST in the invoice is, that invoice itself is just piece of paper, and you can't able to avail credit. This is the one rule which makes this e-invoicing and all, how much impact this only one provision is having. So kindly keep it in mind, Rule 48, Sub Rule 5. So considering this, all our clients, we need to update that, boss, even though e-invoice is not applicable to you, you need to ensure that whoever vendors you are dealing, if some of the vendors, if e-invoicing is applicable for them, you need to update them. If they are going to give e-invoice only, then we'll be able to accept. If they're not going to give e-invoice, even though it is applicable for them, then we won't be able to get the input tax credit. This is one thing I want to make it clear. So for this Rule 48.5, so we need to categorize all our vendors. This is one more notification what they have given. So they have told that they planned around 10 websites for uploading of e-invoices. So they thought that in the starting around 300 crores invoices would be generated monthly basis, all put together in India. So then they thought that okay, if you keep only one website, the load would be high on the website. Then they kept only 10 websites. So any of the websites you can able to upload e-invoicing presently, but presently e-invoice 1.gst.gov. only working. So if you need to generate any e-invoice, you need to upload it in e-invoice 1.gst.gov. The first one only presently enabled. So maybe the balance one in future, based on the performance of the one, they may keep it. So presently only one is being operated.
Sir, the QR code has to be given in the invoice, sir, apart
Yes,
from
sir.
the number.
Yes, sir.
QR has.
Yes, that I will discuss, sir.
Okay, sir.
So this 70/2019 talks about those whose turnover more than 500 crores. This is applicable, and also what they have added in Rule 48.4, in respect of supply of goods or services both to a registered person. So by using these words, to a registered person, they made it clear that it is only applicable for B2B sales. It is only applicable for B2B sales. So then there are many discussions. Okay, in case of exports, the buyer is unregistered. So because he would be in some other country, he won't be registered in India. He is also registered. It won't be B2B sales. So for exports, there was so much confusion is happening. Then maybe around 2 days before that, October 1st, they have given a clarification that those who are in exports also you need to apply. That means it is applicable. E-invoicing is applicable for B2B sales plus exports. So these two cases you need to apply for e-invoicing, B2B sales plus exports. Now this notification 88/2020, so they told that for those whose turnover 100 crores, they are going to, with effect from 1/1/2021, it is going to be applicable. Sir, whom mandal it is exempted? Okay, sir, you told that 100 crores is the taxable limit for whom it is applicable. So why whom mandal it is exempted? So they have given few exemptions. So for goods transport agency, it is exempted. So generally in goods transport agency, they start from starting onwards, from some service tax regime onwards, they are treating it as unorganized sector, and they can't able to do all these compliances of the service tax and all. That time they kept it in reverse charge, so that they continued in GST regime also. So the sector being unorganized sector, so we don't want to make complaints on them. So that now also they kept it for exemption for goods transport agency. For goods transport agency, you need not to apply e-invoicing. Sir, for example, mine is goods transport agency and my turnover is more than 100 crores. I am providing some other services like this goods transport agency. People would be providing warehousing services, storage services, some other renting services. All those services which I am providing, whether I need to comply for the other services. Yes, there are two opinions are there, but as my understanding, that could be activity-based exemption they have given. So when you have all other supplies, you need to follow for all other supplies. So there is no exception for the storage services or rental services, what is provided by goods transport agency. So this supplier of providing services by way of exhibition of cinematographic films in multiplexes. So those like multiplex so tickets issue chese vallaku kuda they have given exemption. So supplier of providing passenger transport service. Passenger transport service also now also they have given relaxation. Even the ticket can be considered as invoice. So they also no need to do this E-Invoice compliance. So insurance company, banking company, financial institutions, including NBFC. So whatever the registration they are having, they need not to comply this E-Invoicing. So SEZ units also they have given. SEZ units anyhow they will be updating all the information in their SEZ online portal. So that is the reason they don't want to keep them one more extra compliance. Anyhow, SEZ units are under regulated manner. That compliance is already regulated, so for them they have given this relaxation. So you need to keep it in mind here that the SEZ developer is not covered. So if you have any SEZ developer client, for them and their turnover is more than 100 crores, e-invoicing is applicable from 1st January. So SEZ units only exemption is the SEZ developer, it is not there. Be clear it on that. As I told that starting, they want to make all India single format of invoice. So what and all fields every invoice should contain. So in this, few fields are optional, few fields are mandatory. But other than these fields, no other fields are allowed. So this is the thing. So invoice type, whether it is regular, SEZ with payment, without payment, export with payment, without payment, deemed exports with payment, without payment. So invoice type, supplier GST, invoice number. So these are we can able to understand by reading that field. So PIN code, state code, place of supply. So for example, if you take state code maximum it is only 2 length. 2 length means so if any of the software, whatever software you are using, if your state code, whatever they have given, so Andhra Pradesh means 37, Karnataka means 29, Tamil Nadu means 33. So they are given all the states two state codes with two digit number. So if you use any other than these two digit number, then the system won't accept it. You can't generate e-invoice at all. So they want to make all of you to bring on one platform. So state code means all invoices should contain only 2 digits. PIN code means only 6 digits. So this transaction type, shipping state, shipping mode. So these are the general things. So we can able to understand. These are the things. These are the 23 items. So what they are planning to keep it in e-invoicing. So what are the documents are covered? Sir, documents are covered. For example, e-invoicing is applicable for you. You need to raise e-invoice for all your invoices, all your debit notes, all your credit notes. So once it is applicable for you, e-invoicing is applicable for you. You need to disclose. You need to raise e-invoicing for all your debit notes, all your credit notes. So exception is there for. In case of bill of supply. Bill of supply, when they will be using bill of supply means in case of exempted goods, if you are doing anything, you need to use bill of supply. Or if you are composition scheme dealer, you need to use bill of supply. So if you are using bill of supply, that means, for example, you are selling some exempted goods to some business, registered person only. So in that case, you need not raise any e-invoicing, because once e-invoice is applicable only for tax invoice, debit note, credit note. So once it is B2B and you are dealing in exempted goods, you would be raising bill of supply, not the tax invoice. So for bill of supply, e-invoice provisions are not applicable. So like all people trading in agriculture products or this feed for agriculture projects or these people, since those goods are exempted, when you are raising bill of supply, even though your turnover is more than 100 crores, for those things and all, you need not raise any e-invoicing. We will be sending few goods for delivery based on delivery challan, or few goods are based on repairs and all. So that time also we need not to do any e-invoicing. E-invoicing is only applicable for tax invoice, credit note, debit note. So what are the transactions applicable for e-invoicing? So all your B2B supplies is you need to raise e-invoicing. All your exports you need to raise e-invoicing. All your B2B supplies to government. So these governments presently, few governments they took a GST number for the sake of TDS. So they want to deduct TDS. That's the reason few government departments they took registration. So still they are considered as a registered person. If you are providing any service, any works contract service to government or any other service to government department, even though the government department might have taken GST only for the purpose of TDS deduction, you need to raise e-invoicing for those transactions also. So 3 documents: invoice, debit note, credit notes, 3 type of transactions: B2B supplies, exports, and B2B supplies to government. So these are in crispy manner, these 3 type of documents to be raised, and for the 3 types of transactions, you need to raise the invoicing. Exceptions, bill of supply and delivery challan, receipt voucher, refund voucher, those things and all, you need not raise any invoicing. How this e-invoicing flow? So if I can able to explain this e-invoicing, I'll be full presentation I kept in so so easy way, so that even a layman can able to understand. So I didn't keep any technical aspects in the whole presentation, so easily you can able to understand. So these are the only 2 things will happen. So the first thing, data will flow from supplier to invoice registration portal. So this is what we have discussed till now. So data will thrown from our system to e-invoice portal. The second thing will happen, data will flow from invoice registration portal to GST system or e-way bill system, and from there from GST system to buyer also, buyer in GST or 2A. So these are the only 2 things in major, if I able to say, whole e-invoice process consists of these 2 only. The first thing we need to do, the second thing the government only will do it for us. The first thing, only thing we need to do, the data from our invoice portal or our accounting package, we need to put it in invoice registration portal. Once we put it in invoice registration portal, so from there it will verify and it will confirm. From there, data will be auto-populated on real-time basis to GST portal and also e-way bill portal and also buyers 2A. So this is how this process works. The first thing, so if you, whatever I explained, so from our accounting software, so they have given from our accounting software, we need we'll be preparing our invoice. So in our accounting software, there's something called, so we need to convert in JSON format. Now this is the manual process. If people who want to go for manual thing, I am just explaining in this format. So convert that whatever invoice we have generated, we need to convert it in JSON format. JSON format is nothing but how our MS Excel format, Word format is there. JSON is a format where your data will be shrinking. So if you see the JSON format, your data will be some 2 KB or 1 KB, so that it can transmit fastly. That is the one thing in this JSON format. So once you upload this JSON format to invoice registration portal, so invoice registration portal will give you e-invoice. So this is how the first process. The first process means IRN, whatever accounting package which you are using that accounting package. If you generate JSON will be uploaded in IRN portal. IRN portal will give you the IRN number. So this whole process is the whole e-invoice process is explain in this whole one slide, only one slide. If you ask me only 1.5 hour presentation, how can you able to explain it in one slide? This is the only one slide where the whole e-invoice process is being pictured. The first thing what we are going, we'll be uploading e-invoice. So once we upload the e-invoicing, IRP portal will sign the that invoice, and he will add QR code and send back the JSON to us. So once we receive that JSON, we can print that thing and we can send it to our buyer. So in addition to this invoice registration portal will send that thing to GSTN system. GSTN system, so your outward supplies will get auto-populated. Even the buyer also GST 2A will get auto-populated. So this is the whole process of e-invoicing. So one in between, this invoice registration portal is the place where this whole process takes place. So our uploading and getting that acknowledgement from invoice registration portal is the only thing we need to do. From there to e-way bill portal, and from there to buyers to GST 2A, from there to buyers, from there to GST portal, all the details in GST returns will be done by the portal on real-time basis. This is how they planned it. Presently, I think maybe around October, November and all, those whose turnover is more than 500 crores, even though they have generated e-invoice, it is not being updated in their returns. So they are still in the process of doing that transmission from e-invoice portal to, that means IRN portal to GSTN returns. But maybe in a month's time they can able to do it on real-time basis. So once you upload any e-invoice in the portal, in the next second it will be uploaded in your GSTR1 in B2B supplies table. So any doubts till now? So this is the major thing. So this is the crux of the whole seminar, where we can able to understand how this e-invoice portal works. So I'm going ahead. So this is the process I have explained. So from supplier to IRP. So this is the process how supplier to IRP will happen. So then I am explaining from IRP to GSTN system or e-way bill system. So this we need not to do anything. This everything is done by the GST IRN portal only. So this is how what we are going to get it once we update our information in IRN. So once we give our invoice data in invoice registration portal, so we'd be getting back one IRN. IRN is nothing but 64-digit hash. They call it as hash, 64-digit some unique number. So how that 64-digit would be created based on a seller GST number, document type, document number, financial year. So that 64-digit we need not to create. The e-invoice portal itself will create and send back the 64-digit number. So that how they will create based on these 4 parameters. That QR code also system only will generate. We need not to wait for that. System will generate that QR code. That QR code, if you scan it, I told QR code will be having GST already gave apps for scanning these QR codes. Generally, those apps are available with all officers who are GST officer who are doing this checkposts on-road searching of vehicles and all. They'll be having, if they scan the thing, they can able to see that who is the seller's GST, what is the recipient GST number, what is the invoice number, date of invoice, invoice value, and how many line items are there in the invoice, HSN code of the main, which is the higher amount is there, that higher amount you'll be having that HSN code. So these are the general things what you can get it from QR code by scanning the QR code. So these are the 2 things what you are going to get it from IRN portal once you upload the data of invoice. If you upload the data of e-invoice, you in addition you'd be getting that acknowledgement by way of PAPAL, that's acknowledgement by the government, by IRN and QR code. So for us it is mandatory to print QR code. So there is no optional at all. QR code is mandatory. But what they told that IRN, it is your optional. IRN, that 64 digit, if you want, you can print it. If you don't want, you need not to print it. But QR code is compulsory as far as e-invoicing is concerned. So QR code is compulsory. If you don't want IRN, you need not to print IRN. So what are the modes of generation of e-invoicing? So modes of generation of e-invoicing, presently they have planned 5 models. Yes, sir. Presently they have planned around 5 models. So presently only around 3 are operating. The other 2, maybe in 1 or 2 months time, they are going to get it. So this is web-based. Web-based is nothing but how our e-way bill works. So e-way bill will go and physically input the data. So invoice number 1010-5. So date 20/12/2020. Amount 1,20,000. Something like that. So that is web-based. Like means physical input of data in the e-invoice portal. So second thing is API. API means API access means so directly upon clicking of a button you can generate e-invoice. Only upon clicking of a button. So this also we are going to see it maybe in a couple of minutes. So for this your accounting system has to be integrated with invoice registration portal system. This invoice portal should get integrated with your accounting system. Once it is integrated, upon clicking of button, you can able to generate e-invoice. So you need not to generate any JSON file or no need to upload anything. Directly upon clicking of button, you will get e-invoicing. This is I'll show this how this works under mobile app based. They're planning mobile app based also. Presently that mobile app is not working. Still they are in process. Maybe it may take 1 more month or 2 months for the mobile app based generation. Offline tool also I'll show you. Offline tool how it works means in GST returns, how we are doing presently in GST returns. We'll download offline Excel utility, we'll fill the data and we'll fill JSON file, and JSON file will be uploaded in the GST portal. The same way, we need to download this Excel utility. We need to fill the data. Whatever data we have filled, we need to whatever data.
Shravan, Narayan sir,
so whatever data we are getting from the JSON file will be uploaded in e-invoice portal, and we'll get the e-invoice from the e-invoice portal. This also I'll show you. This offline tool and also API based, both I'll show you at the end of our session. Printing of invoice. So we can print that e-invoicing presently whatever printed JSON which we are getting from e-invoice portal, that we can, our accounting software can able to understand. If you do integration, then we can print it in our normal invoice. So cancellation of e-invoice. We can able to do it within 24 hours. So if you are more than 24 hours, you can't do anything for the e-invoice portal, because e-invoicing portal is only pass-through portal. It won't consist of data, like it won't keep the data. So it can only keep the data for 24 hours. For example, you have generated an e-invoice and at the 12 o'clock today. So the data will be there in the e-invoice portal up to 12 o'clock in the tomorrow, tomorrow 12 o'clock only. So from there, once you next day 12 o'clock happens, the data will be vanished from e-invoice portal. So it is only pass-through portal. From there, the data will go to GST portal. From there, data will go to e-way bill portal. From there, from GST portal, it will go to 2F buyer also. But you can't do anything after 24 hours. Any cancellation. Sir, we raised invoice and we need to cancel that invoice after 24 hours. What we should do? So, but as far as e-invoice portal is concerned, you can't do anything. While filing your GSTR1, since this invoice being updated in your GSTR1, you can delete your invoice there in GSTR1. You need to delete that invoice in GSTR1, and without that invoice, you need to file your GSTR3B also. But after 24 hours, you can't do any modification. Sir, if any modification can we do within 24 hours? So no question of modification. Once you generate any invoice, you can only cancel within 24 hours. No question of modification. If something mistake happened means that what you need to do, you need to cancel that invoice along with invoice number also. You can't use that invoice number for generation of one more e-invoice. So even if you cancel, for example, 003 bar 2021, that is the invoice you have created. Some mistake happened. You wish to change the few details. So what will happen? You need to cancel that 003/2021. Then when you are giving next invoice, you need to use 004/2021. You can't use 003/2021 because it's already cancelled. So no question of changing, no question of cancellation after 24 hours. These are the two things we need to keep it in mind while generating e-invoicing. So we need to extra care. We need to be little extra care while doing this e-invoice, considering this extra thing and extra burden thing. So what we should do as an action point? So we need to categorize all our vendors. As I told that vendors would be doing this those vendors whose more than 100 crores turnover, for them it is applicable. If you possible, if you feel that you will having a doubt whether this vendor is more than 100 crores turnover, but this fellow is not giving e-invoice, then you get a declaration from the buyer by the seller that boss, this you need to give me e-invoice, otherwise you give a declaration that e-invoice is not applicable to us to you. So if tomorrow, if anything if the department fellow rejects this credit and all, so I can show this declaration. I can ask you that you have given wrong declaration, you pay me this whatever credit disallowed by the government. So you need to change on your in your ERP, whatever changes are there, you need to change, you need to if you are going with API access, you need to integrate your system with invoice registration portal, so that whatever upon clicking of a button, you can able to generate invoicing. So data capturing IRN or QR code. So few people, what they are doing, they can inputting that means instead of passing in purchase entries, they automated their computer system such a way that upon scanning of the QR code or upon scanning of the IRN number, it can able to pass accounting entry, purchase entry directly itself. So if you there is in that still in that is being in the initial phases. Maybe after a few days we can see such a way that the manual entries or manual interaction would be less. So the system will able to get the data from the vendor system, and they can able to input whatever data that invoice consists. All our employees should be trained, so they need to understand the impact of these things. These are the action points. Considering this e-way bill, we need to do it. So what are the issues we'll be facing? So presently being corona being we are stabilizing from this corona, maybe around 1.2 lakh crores of GST collection to we are reaching to 1 lakh crores. In the last month it is around 1.05 lakh crores. So now this is one more extra burden as far as GST taxpayers are concerned. Of course, but considering the good things in e-invoicing, we can. So, sir, you are saying that every invoice you need to update. It will take so much time, sir. If you can able to, I will be showing that it won't take a split of second to generate e-invoice. Split of second also. And also one more thing, once you generate this e-invoice, you need not to update all your B2B supplies. All your B2B supplies will be automatically updated. So at the time of your return filing, your time will be reduced substantially. You need to just verify and you can file your GSTR1. So your time, you need not to file separately your GSTR1. Most of you need to only enter your B2C details and HSN code details. All other B2B details and deemed export details are export details directly uploaded from your E-Invoice portal to your GST portal. You need not to do anything extra. So these maybe you while generating invoice it may take some time, but substantial time will be reduced at the time of filing of returns. This one more action point for most of the states, if you're less than 50,000, if you're carrying goods, you need not to generate waybill. Or few states like Tamil Nadu, in case of intra-state supplies, if you're less than 1 lakh rupees, you need not to generate e-waybill. But there is no threshold limit for generation of e-invoice. So once e-invoice is applicable for you, even you are generating invoice for 10 rupees for B2B supplies, even for 10 rupees for B2B supplies, you need to generate e-invoice. So if you don't generate e-invoice, as I told you, it is just piece of paper. Even though you call it as invoice, but as far as GST purpose, if you require to generate e-invoice and you don't generate e-invoice means it is just piece of paper. You can't, the buyer can't take credit, any of buyer can't take credit of GST what you charged on the invoice, which is not an e-invoice. So one more extra thing. So for example, one invoice being cancelled, so we'd be removing in GSTR1, but e-invoice data shows that this invoice being generated in invoice. So this reconciliation, one more extra reconciliation, we need to keep it. Presently in GST, we have so many reconciliations. GSTR 2A versus 3B, 1 versus 3B, 2A versus 3B. There is something new came 2B. 2A versus 2B. So in addition to waybill turnover versus GSTR1 turnover, waybill turnover versus GSTR 3B turnover. So export details shown in IceGate to export details shown in GST portal. So in addition to these many reconciliations, around 10 to 12 reconciliations presently being there. So one more reconciliation, whatever turnover you have shown in e-invoice portal to turnover you are showing in GST portal. There is nothing wrong in keeping, nothing wrong in differences are coming, but we can able to explain why the difference came. So even I told the same thing at the time of GSTR 9 also. So there is nothing wrong of differences of your turnover in between your books of accounts and your GST returns. So you need to keep why the differences came. So if you can able to document the differences why it came, then you can able to explain the officers. So there is nothing wrong with the differences are coming. So for example, if one invoice being cancelled after 24 hours, so then that thing you need to keep it. So this invoice being cancelled, so that is the reason we removed it from GSTR1. So this we need to keep it in mind. So generally we'll be doing some changes is there. What we'll do, we'll change the invoice and we'll cancel that, we'll change that old invoice itself with the same number. We'll do the changes, we'll sign it, and or we'll give one more printout of the invoice. So that thing won't be possible. So now after the e-invoicing and all, once you generate e-invoicing, you need to cancel the whole invoice and you need to give the new invoice. So this being one practical challenges considering the how India do business. So this in general, we'll be doing this practice of changing in the details of the invoice. After 1 month, we'll be giving with the later like a prior date invoice and all. So that is one thing like we need to adapt for this change. So B2C, like one more issue is happening. Most of the cases when the buyer is unable to give his GST number, we'll be putting it in B2C. Then after 1 month, he'll come and ask that, sir, we have GST number. We need to give it in. You need to give it in B2B, sir. So that anyhow, presently we are doing some adjustments and we are reducing from B2C and we are giving in B2B invoice. That also being, since it is being next month, so we are doing this adjustment up to 20th of next month, because up to 20th we would be not be filing GST 3B. So up to that date we are doing all these amendments. Now there is no up to next month 20th and all. Whenever you do this change and all, you need to whenever you raise invoice, you need to raise the invoice also. So once you do some changes and all, you need to cancel that and you need to raise one more invoice. This is one few practical challenges in this e-invoice considering our Indian business scenario. So this is all about e-invoicing. So I myself around maybe after 5 to 6 seminars of e-invoicing, I myself got collated a few questions and all. So we'll go through these questions. Then we'll show a few invoices how we can able to generate using a offline tool, and also how we can generate few invoices in API based. Then we'll take any questions. If your question is not covered in this FAQ, or if your question is not covered in my presentation, those things we can take it. So whether e-invoicing is applicable for branch transfers. So branch transfers means if it is, we need to see whether it is intra-branch transfer or inter-branch transfer. Like intra-branch means intra-state or interstate. So if you are having a branch in some other state, from Andhra to Tamil Nadu or Andhra to Telangana, so that branch transfer is treated as supply in GST. So once it is treated as supply in GST, you need to generate e-invoice for the transaction. If you are having a branch inside the state, that means the same GST number only. That means then those cases you need not to generate any e-invoice. You need to send those goods to DC, delivery challan. So for delivery challan, e-invoicing is not required. So you need to keep it in mind. If you are having the same GST number and doing the branch transfers within the same state, then you need not to generate e-invoice. If you are same state, if you are having two GSTNs, from one GSTN to other GSTN, if you are doing any supplies, then you need to raise invoice. It is treated as supply only. That case, you need to raise the invoice. Hope I am clear. So whether export of exempted products needs to comply e-invoicing? Yes. So in case of export, as far as
కేసీ మోహన్ సార్, కేసీ మోహన్ సార్ కొంచెం మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్ మైక్. శ్రావణ్ కొంచెం అందరిని అన్మ్యూట్ చేసి, అందరిని మ్యూట్ చేసి శ్రావణ్.
So whether export of exempted specifically mentioned for requirement of e-invoicing. So even exempted products, if you are exporting, you need to like I'll be getting these agriculture products. Many agriculture exports are there in our state. So if you are exporting that thing, still you need to generate e-invoice. There is no exception at all. All exports, they have told there is no question of exempted products exports and all. So you need to generate. Is it mandatory to print QR code? What is the size of QR code to be printed? Yes, as I told, QR code is mandatory to be printed in the invoice. IRN is optional. So what is the size of QR code to be printed? So there is no size prescribed. It can able whatever application they have given, you can that application can able to scan the QR code. So if it is in a sufficient size, you can able and the QR code can be scanned by that scanner. You can able to send it, use that QR code. The size of QR code is not at all prescribed, but it should be such size at least the mobile, whatever app, whatever scanner able to scan that QR code and able to give the details of who is the buyer's GST, seller's GST, how many, what is the value of invoice, all those things, whatever I have told. Whether e-invoice is required for ISD invoices. So as far as ISD invoices, e-invoice is not required. So it is only in distribution. For distribution, we'll be giving one invoice. It is not normal supply. So no e-invoice is required. Whether e-invoice required for other than transportation services provided by GTA. So as I told, as far as GTA is concerned, other services given by GTA, we need to generate e-invoice. Whether e-invoicing can be done by if your turnover less than 100 crores. Sir, my turnover is less than 100 crores, sir. Can I able to do e-invoicing, sir? I need to understand how this process works and all. So presently this not being enabled. So presently the portal enabled only for those whose turnover is more than 100 crores. So they can only do this trialing or testing basis. For those whose turnover less than 100 crores, you can't do any e-invoicing presently. Whether e-invoice is required in case of self-invoices for procurements from unregistered dealers. So there is something called 31(3)(f). So in case of procurement from unregistered dealers, so self-invoice needs to be raised. So whether for raising the self-invoice, we need to generate E-Invoice. So no need, in case of self-invoice, no need to raise any E-Invoice. Only it is applicable for B2B exports and B2B to government entities. Whether e-way bill needs to be generated separately in addition to E-Invoice. So yes, there is no presently there is no exception. E-way bill needs to be generated if the consignment value is more than 50,000. Of course, there is a discussion going on. Maybe after full implementation of E-Invoice, they are going to remove the e-way bill concept and all. So once if you have E-Invoice, you can take those goods without any e-way bill. That is maybe after a few months of complete implementation of E-Invoicing. Presently, there is no exception at all. You need to generate E-Invoice, e-way bill in addition to E-Invoice if your consignment value is more than 50,000. Whether E-Invoice can be cancelled or amended. This I discussed. You can't cancel after 24 hours. You can't amend at all. What are the consequences of non-complying of E-Invoice provisions? So if you don't comply with E-Invoice and the buyer can't be able to get the credit. And one more thing, if your turnover is more than 100 crores and if you are taking some goods from here to buyer's place, in between one departmental officer catches your vehicle, you didn't generate E-Invoice, you have given only normal invoice. Then since E-Invoice is applicable for you, what other than E-Invoice would be treated as just piece of paper. So once it is piece of paper, that officer will tell you that you are sending these goods without invoice. So once it is not E-Invoicing, it is not an invoice at all. So it would be treated as clandestine removal. So and e-way bill penalties and all can be levied. When E-Invoicing needed for B2B supplies of exempted products. So B2B supplies of exempted products, bill of supply is needed. E-Invoice is not required. So because the E-Invoice is applicable only for debit note, credit note, and taxable invoice. So for B2B exempted, we'll be raising bill of supply. Whether single invoice can be generated for multiple invoice. So no such concept. Only one E-Invoice should be required for each of the invoices. So no such concept of one E-Invoice for multiple invoices. Multiple line items can be there. Is there any time limit for generation of E-Invoice? This being asked by many people. Is there any time limit? So presently there is no time limit. Presently system is accepting even the date of invoice is also November dated invoice also we can able to generate E-Invoices. So this presently they haven't prescribed this. So they told that E-Invoice should be there. So within how much time of raising invoice they haven't prescribed. But what the general suggestion being in the industry is that within at least 48 hours you need to generate E-Invoicing. So maybe in next few days they are going to get some time limit for generation of E-Invoice. So as of now, no restriction. Even the invoices dated November also we can able to generate now as far as E-Invoice present portal status is concerned. Whether the customer vendor would get any communication upon generation of E-Invoice. So no, presently no, but this also they are planning. So once you generate any E-Invoice, the buyer also will get a mail from GST saying that your X supplier has generated E-Invoice on behalf of you, like you are the buyer. Even the supplier also will get communication from the government. This is what planning now. So this is in planning stage only. Maybe once this E-Invoicing stabilizes, that also they can do. But a few third-party softwares are there. Presently, they are providing this service. So wherever they want to do once upon generation of E-Invoice, they are sending to mail to customer and mail to supplier, any mail ID what is given at the time of that software, that mail also being sent. Aggregate turnover includes exempted supplies. Yes, aggregate turnover means you need to see PAN-based turnover. Once PAN-based includes all your exempted supplies also. So as I told that you need to show it PAN-based, not GST based. So based on that, you need to calculate your turnover. If your turnover more than 100 crores, you need to apply it from 1st January. Which date would be considered as in GSTR 1? IRN date or document date. For example, document date is of 3rd December, but 3rd December invoices I generated a E-invoice today. That means 20th December. So GSTR 1 updation, which date would be updated? So it would be updated with the document date only. 3rd December only will get updated. So IRN date it doesn't have any relevance in updating of GSTR 1. Any monetary limit is there for generation of e-invoicing, like 50,000 for e-way bill. No such monetary limit. Once e-invoice is applicable, even you are raising invoice for 1 rupee or 2 rupees, you need to generate e-invoice if it is B2B supply. Okay. What is the recourse available in case of mistake in the e-invoice is already furnished? No such, no recourse of amendment. So you need to cancel that e-invoice within 24 hours. Then you need to regenerate with a new invoice number. Is e-invoice compulsorily need to be carried by the transporter? That means whether e-invoice, yes, e-invoice needs to be carried, but soft copy also okay. So you need not to carry physical copy. You can carry soft copy also, because as far as the e-invoice is concerned, that QR code is the important thing. That QR code you can show it like in electronic device also. The officer can able to scan that, then he can able to know that is already e-invoice being generated. Can e-commerce entities generate e-invoice on behalf of sellers on their platforms? Yes. There is one facility given for e-commerce entities whose supplies who are doing supplies through them. E-commerce entities can also generate e-invoice. So these are the questions I have framed based on my previous sessions and all. So what I can do, what we can do it, we'll go to that portal and we'll see how that invoice portal will work, and we'll generate 1 or 2 invoices. Then we can see any doubts or comes under. So if you can able to see my screen, this is the portal. This is the portal. This you may be getting doubt. How can I go here and all? I'll just. If you can able to see here, I had gone to Google and I typed E-Invoice trial portal. So the first one, if you can able to see it, is e-invoice1.trial.nic. This is only trial portal. I'm doing it in trial portal. The original portal also I'll show you. The same, it looks like same only. I'll show you that also. So if you can able to see, both the portal looks same. Same way. If you see it here, this is original portal. This is trial portal. If you say it here, what they have mentioned, this trial portal is only for trial site for IRN and e-way bill generation. Please do not use e-invoices and e-way bills generated this portal for any purpose. So this is only for trial portion. So you need not to, whatever generated here is only for your trial thing and all. You can't use this thing. For original things, you need to apply it for this website. Clear? So this website consists of a few important facilities and all. Like if you can able to see like the taxpayer search. So whether e-invoicing is applicable for you or not, you can able to see here. I'll just show you once more. search option taxpayer GSTN. So here if I'll just mention one GSTN number. 7ASEFH 1 So if you see it here, one second, this is showing only status. One more thing, I'll just say whether. So if you see it here. So if you want to enable it, you can enable it here. Even if your turnover is less than 100 crores and you are not enabled, then you can see it here. This is the one facility they have given. There is some option called E-Invoice status of taxpayer. If you click this, I'll just you can able to see, sir, our supplier whether he is enabled for E-Invoice or not. How will you able to know, sir? If you ask me, then you can go and search it here. If you search it here, you'll able to know whether your supplier GSTN is enabled or not. So here see our GSTN, since our turnover is less than 100 crores, so it is showing that E-Invoice is not enabled for this taxpayer. So there is something called search option in the trial version, trial website. Here E-Invoice status of taxpayer. If you click that, you will able to know that whether the vendor is enabled with E-Invoice or not. This one thing we can able to do it here. So here something called downloads are there. So once you, these tools are there. So how we will generate e-invoicing? We can use this bulk generation tools. So from here we need to download the JSON file. As I told that if you are doing this offline utility based, so here it is updated on 7th December. So you can download this format A, format B, format C, and format D. These are 4 formats. If you are having simple things, you can use format A. So it is only based on the complexity. So if you have many transactions, many types of transactions, they can use format B. If you have deemed so exports with payment and all, you need to use format C. So like based on the complexity, you can able to see the instructions, you can able to know. So upon clicking, I'm just passing one thing. So I just downloaded this format. I just downloaded this format A. So I'll just show one e-invoice how we can generate thing and all. One second, I'll just. So if you can able to see my screen, there is something called this is the one which you will able to download from the e-invoice portal. So this looks like this. So only thing we need to do it. So one more thing, this offline utility is useful for those who are raising 1 or 2 invoices in a day. So if you are using only few invoices in a day, like maybe 4 or 5 or 5 or 6, maybe below 10, you can use it even if you are raising 100 invoice also. But since it is being more manual, it would be difficult if you're having more number of invoices. So I'll suggest this offline tool based only for having lesser number of invoices. We are having many number of invoices, you should go for API integration with IRN portal, and you need to generate e-invoice. So this offline tool, that means for those who are having very less number of invoices and those who want to do manual thing and all. So here you need to fill this table of general details, normal profile details. Whatever red color is there, those are compulsory. Then here something called E-Invoice option is there. In this E-Invoice, whatever invoice related details we need to mention. So it is asked supply type, whether it is B2B or B2C or exports with payment, sedge with payment, or deemed exports, what and all. Whether reverse charge is applicable, yes or no, we need to give. So e-commerce, if it is there, we need to give. IGST and intrastate, it is more or less not applicable for us, no. So document type, I'm giving here a tax invoice. So document details, what is the invoice number, what that and all it is asking here. Invoice date I'll mention today's date, 2020. So buyer GST number I have given my GST number. So these are the general details, you need not to bother much and all on this. So since these things are optional, I didn't give all those details. So here, whatever service or product what you are doing, so those details you need to give. So service here I can give our choice, chartered accountant service. Is it service? Yes. Or HSN code, quantity. Since it is being service, I didn't mention that quantity. Since it is mandatory, I have mentioned one. So I have mentioned as 1 lakh rupees as the value of the invoice. So 18% is the GST. So since it being local supply, 9,000 is CGST, SGST. So total item total is 1,18,000. So batch details, if you are having, if you are pharmaceutical company or something like that, if you need to give batch details, you can give it here. So it is this is the summary table. What is the total taxable value? What is the GST amount and all. If you are doing exports, you can mention it here. So these are general details. You can easily able to get it. If you still have any a doubt in how to fill these things and all, there is something called here in the sheet itself. Sample invoice is there. How the sample invoice looks like, how you need to fill it. See if you can able to see it here. What they told that if you are having multiple line items, how you need to fill it. If you are having single line item, how you need to fill it. And also few FAQs also being posted here. For example, what pin code you need to mention in case of export, since the buyer won't be having any pin like a 6-digit pin code and all. So all those questions being clarified here, FAQs. If you while filling this document, if you get any doubts and all, you can you can get it here. You can get it clarified here. I think this being Excel sheets, these utilities, we should be very much careful. So I'll just close it and save it. Meanwhile, we'll see what we can do. We'll go to the website and we'll see how that portal works. This portal, I'll go through this trial portal. One second. So I'm just logging it here. I got some. So if you can see this, I'm just log into this normal trial portal. So if it will show that how many this dashboard consists of how many invoices you have generated yesterday, how many invoices you have generated during this month. So like this it will show. So whatever e-invoice we have generated, we need to here there is something called option of if you can able to see it here, bulk upload option is there, or cancel a fee invoice. So we'll go to our Excel portal wherein we have filled the details. So we have filled the details here. Then we'll do what we'll do validate. So here if you don't have any mistake, it will show it data validate successfully. Then I'll mention there is something called prepare JSON. So once you prepare JSON, so data validated successfully, JSON created wherever your this Excel utility is there JSON will get created. So I'll show that. So if here, what is the time now? Here it is 12:56. If you can able to see here, we have generated this JSON file. So whatever JSON file we have generated, it is having some 3 KB space under. So it will appear here. So once if you go to our e-invoice portal, there is something called bulk upload. So we need to choose the JSON file. So this JSON file, if you choose it, so once if you open that, click upload, it will show. So total number of invoices 1, number of invoices, total invoice uploaded, failed to upload. So what it is saying that so this invoice 004 you already generated one invoice on 9th 12th date. So that is the reason we can't able to generate now. So it being duplicate generate. So what we'll do, we'll change the invoice. We'll change the invoice number and generate one more invoice. One second, I'm just going to there. I think you can able to screen my screen, I think. So if you go here and you go to home page, bulk upload, choose file. Now we have generated one more JSON file at 12:58. Click it here, open, upload it. So if you see it here, total number of invoice in the file 1, invoice uploaded successfully 1. So you already got for that invoice with today's date 2012-2020, buyer GST number, acknowledgement number, IRN. So these are the things we can able to. So it doesn't take even a split of second once you uploaded properly. So once you got this, you can download your Excel sheet and you can also download your JSON file. Sir, how can I print invoice? So even here itself, there is something called print option. So if you put the acknowledgement number, which I just saved, copied it now from the earlier invoice. So this is how this e-invoice prints. So with today's date 2020, I have generated 1 o'clock. So these are the IRN number. This talks about QR code. This QR code IRN number. So I have mentioned 1 lakh rupees, so 1,18,000. So 9,000 GST, 9,000 SGST. This being signed by this NIC portal or like a e-invoice portal. So we can take a download of this thing and you can print it and you can send it. So this is mostly for those who are having 3 or 4 invoices in a day. If you are having more than many invoices, I won't suggest this thing, because this takes case of like major manual work. So that being here also there is something called e-way bill option. So if you can go for invoice, so if I put this generate e-way bill for the e-invoice, if you have, so it will ask, it will already your part A will get uploaded. So you need to enter only transporter A, transporter details. Even you can generate e-invoice, e-way bill also without any, in the same website. You need not to attend some other website, or same website also you can do it. So this is how we can generate like offline utility based. Now, how our normal offline utility based. So I'll just explain API access also. So API access, if you can able to see it, 1 second. I think you can able to see my screen, this tally. So tally, this is general tally thing, normal tally what we are using. So I just added some, there is something called connectors. So to speak my tally with the invoice registration portal, I have added some connector. There is something called TDL for this add-on. We need to do it from third party. So since I have connected here, in general in our tally, we won't be getting the option of this GST gen. So now I have connected my system with this tally. I have got this extra option of GST gen. So I'll just post one invoice and I'll show you how much time it will take for generation of e-invoice in tally. So this being a general tally, we'll see this with today's date I have mentioned. This being sales invoice. So I have given this trial exams. Party name will keep ASM Technologies. So this being local sale, we'll keep something pen drive. Okay, pen drive. Quantity would be some 100 quantity. So one quantity is 350 rupees. So since I have added this rate of GST and all, it automatically came. So here only it will ask whether you want way bill. As of now, I told no. Like we'll see how this e-invoice works. So if you can able to see this normal things only. So I'll write some narration. So yes. If you can able to see with today's date, the value of invoice is at 39,300. Sorry, I think okay. Okay, sorry. I'll just pause one more time. Yes, some technologies. Local sale. Pen drive. Quantity 100. 39,200 is the value of invoice. So I have passed it that invoice. So if you can able to see it here, GST gen. So all our B2B invoices will get updated here. This e-invoice register is there. So I have passed 2 entries today with 39,300. So if you can able to see it here, once I select that invoice, select means a space button. Space button, if I enter it, so there is something called upload e-invoice option is there. So when I click this button, upload e-invoice, so see here, this is in black color, this is in blue color. What does it mean? Blue color means e-invoice being generated. So how come e-invoice being generated means if you can able to see it, IRN number is already came. So here is status. If you see e-invoice generated, e-way bill we told no, that so that's why it came no. If you want to print this invoice, I'll save it in the desktop. So this is the invoice being generated now. So just it's a click of button. So you need not to do any JSON thing under the 39,200 what we have mentioned, pen drive 100 numbers. So buyer details, seller details. So these details, since we haven't given at the time of posting of entry in Tally, those details didn't come. So QR code is there, and also IRN number is printed at the top of the invoice. So if you can able to see how much time it took, you can able to see not even a split of second. So here see one more is in green color, so black color, that I haven't generated any invoice. So presently I'll just show it. If you see it here, no invoice details are there. Correct. So I'll just select space. So space option, it is also upload e-invoice. When I click yes, see this also turned into blue color. So this also e-invoice came. If I print it, it will be printed with QR code and IRN number. This is how, if you do this connection, if you use some third-party connectors, and you generally would be using Tally. That's the reason I just chose Tally to do this e-invoice thing and all. But as of now, Tally didn't come with this automatic thing and all. We need to get it from third-party software and all. I think I heard it from Tally that maybe around 28th they're planning an event wherein they'll release a patch so that we can generate e-invoicing like this. So you need not to generate any JSON file, everything. So if it comes well before this month itself, you can go ahead with the Tally updation, and you can know we have few doubts whether Tally is able to issues and all. Then you can choose any third-party software for update for doing this. So this is the thing, like how this works out. I think I can able to clarify and also able to share anything and all. Still, if you have any doubts and all, you can mail me or you can ask me now. If I can't able to explain you, I can able to reply by mail also.
Sir, one of our member has raised a doubt.
Yes, sir.
Ghost portal will be updated in case of purchase made from this type of persons.
Sorry, sir.
Sir, ghost portal will be updated in the case of purchases made from this type of persons.
Correct.
It gets updated.
No, you are asking, for example, I bought it from a person whose turnover is more than 100 crores. So once he raised a sale invoice on me, so his GSTR portal will update it in GSTR 1, in table 4 B2B supplies, table 4A, 4B and all. So in that portal, once it uploads it, it updates in his portal. Once the same thing will update in my GSTR 2A also.
Okay. Dear sir, turnover limit is the same even in the case of export of goods less than 5 crores or just above 5 crores turnover.
Sir, 5 crores thing and all, it is still discussion, sir. 5 crores is from the April, sir, not now. So as of now, it's only for 100 crores. Yeah, as of now, it is only 100 crores. But 5 crores still discussions are going. So we for the aggregate turnover means you need to take all turnovers, exempted, export, non-GST, everything put together.
Thank you, sir. Is there any document number, number of characters that a document number can take in the e-invoice, sir?
Document number 16 digits, sir. Our invoice number should contain only 16 digits.
It should not exceed more than 16.
Yes, sir.
Dear members, if you are having any queries, you can unmute your mic and you can raise your queries directly to the faculty. If there are no further queries, I hope we will go ahead with the next proceedings.
Sir, Rajesh garu.
Yes, sir.
మీరు ఇందాక ఏం చెప్పారంటే మా సప్లయరు మోర్ దెన్ 500 crores టర్న్ ఓవర్ రీచ్ అయ్యాడా లేదా అనేది డీలర్స్ తెలియదు కదా, అప్పుడు ఒక డిక్లరేషన్ తీసుకోమన్నారు.
ఎస్ సార్,
సార్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయరా?
అదే సార్, ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే, సో వన్స్ ఈవెన్ హిస్ టర్న్ ఓవర్ ఇస్ మోర్ దాన్ ప్రిస్క్రైబ్డ్ లిమిట్ and he doesn't raise E-Invoice, then it will become just piece of paper.
Yes.
Those cases when we have doubt that whether the supplier the turnover is more than 100 crores or not, we can get a declaration from the vendor that boss, boss, you give a declaration that your turnover is below 100 crores, so that I'll keep I would be happy that E-Invoice provisions are not applicable. Whatever invoice you have given is eligible document for me to take credit. So generally, if you have doubt whether the vendor, even though applicable, he is not giving E-Invoice, those cases you can get a declaration from your vendor that why you are not generating E-Invoice means he may tell that my turnover is less than 100 crores. So those cases you can get a declaration that since his turnover is less than 100 crores, so he is not giving any E-Invoice. Tomorrow, if because his turnover is more than 100 crores and he is not generating E-Invoice means I should not get any problem.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And the declaration I'll write that if tomorrow if government gives any objects any of this credit, you need to reimburse me this tax amount. That I'll put it in that declaration.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if suppose in the middle of the year, if my turnover crosses 100 crores, so what?
Which year, sir? This 2021.
Yes, sir. In 2021, suppose in February month, if my turnover crosses 100 crores, and in the previous year my turnover does not exceed 100 crores, so from February onwards, I have to implement this new E-Invoice scheme.
No, for them actually for them it is not applicable, sir. From 1st January, whatever it is given, 1st January, it is given any of the preceding 3 years turnover is crosses 500 crores or 100 crores. So they have told preceding only, but this year they haven't told anywhere. So considering that we can take E-Invoice is not applicable for those whose turnover crosses only this year, that threshold turnover.
Thank you, sir. I hope there are no further queries, sir. Thank you for your wonderful and mesmerizing session, sir. I think throughout the session, more than 50 plus members were there once you started taking over the session. And it was a memorable session, sir. And you said about one TDL concept. And in our Nellore branch, we have conducted one MS Excel utility session, sir. In that, our faculty, Saran Kumar, has taken up this how TDL has to be downloaded, how it should be utilized in Tally. So I remembered when you have said this, explored this option, how that was useful to our members. So again, request our members, if you want to use this option, to please go through the previous webinar, which was uploaded in Nellore ICA YouTube link, and just see how the TDL has to be selected and enabled, and you can have a trial work on that, so that by 1st January you would be able to equip with the DES requirements. Now, before going further, I just request our past chairman Chandramouli Garu to just say a few words about our Amancherla Shankar Narayan Garu. Chandramouli sir. Sir, Chandramouli sir.
Yes, sir. Voice is clear?
Yeah, clear, sir, clear.
So, good afternoon, all the committee members and our chairman Vamsi, Rajesh. We are happy to see you on the fag end of the year 2020, which gives Corona and having the faces in web meetings only. Now, regarding our friend and best lover of the Nellore branch by all the people, he is the founder person for the taking the branch at Nellore. Though he started his practice in 89, Even before that, he was taken so many times for the jail, even emergency meetings also. And he is close associate with BJP and RSS, and his activities, whenever he think anything and he takes the decision, he will go accordingly. That is his mindset. నిజంగా అతను విఆర్ కాలేజ్ కోసం కష్టపడి 30 years పోరాడి 30 years ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తూ కూడా విఆర్ కాలేజ్ ప్రాక్టీస్, విఆర్ కాలేజ్ కోర్టులో ఫైటింగు ప్రాక్టీస్లో ఒక భాగంగా ఏర్పరచుకొని కింద కోర్టు నుంచి సుప్రీంకోర్టు దాకా వెళ్ళి సాధించి గెలిచాడు. ఒకవేళ నిజంగా మిత్రుడు ఉన్నున్నా కూడా ఈ యొక్క స్వార్థ రాజకీయాల్లో తనను తట్టుకోలేడని దేవుడు అతని దగ్గరికి తీసుకెళ్ళాడని నేను మనస్ఫూర్తిగా నమ్ముతున్నాను. ఎందుకంటే ఒకవేళ నిజంగా ఎలక్షన్స్ పెట్టి మళ్ళీ రాజకీయం అక్కడ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యంటే హీ కాంట్ డైజెస్ట్ దట్ థింగ్. అందుకని ఒక విధంగా ఆయన్ని అంతవరకే గెలిచాను అనే తృప్తితోటి కన్ను మూసాడేమో అని అనిపిస్తుంది. బ్రాంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఫౌండర్ చైర్మన్గా ఉండడం కానీ, తర్వాత బ్రాంచ్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు కలిసిమెలిసి తిరగడంలో కానీ, ఈ 30 yearsలో ఒకవేళ ఏదన్నా మిగతా మెంబర్స్ అందరితో శంకర్ నారాయణ విభేదించినా కూడా గట్టిగా శంకర్ అందరితో కలిసి వెళ్దామని అంటే తన సిద్ధాంతాన్ని పక్కన పెట్టేసి సరే మౌళి అనే స్వతంత్రంగా చెప్పగలిగే మనిషిని ఈరోజు మనం మనస్ఫూర్తిగా స్మరించుకుంటూ, ఆ రోజు అరుణ్ కానీ శ్రీనివాసరెడ్డి కానీ ఆయనతో ఉన్నటువంటి అవినాభావ సంబంధంతో ఆ ఫర్మ్ని అలా కంటిన్యూ చేస్తూ ఆయన పేరుని ఆయనకి ఇబ్బంది లేకుండా ఆయన సంస్థని ఒక గుర్తింపు తెచ్చుకుంటూ మన బ్రాంచ్లో ప్రతి ఇయర్ ఆయన యొక్క సంస్కరణ దినోత్సవం గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటూ మనం ఒక లెక్చర్ మీటింగ్ పెట్టాలని అందరు కమిటీ మెంబర్స్ ఏకాగ్రీవంగా తీర్మానించుకున్నాం. దానికి అనుగుణంగా ఈవెన్ 14 December జరిగిన డిసెంబర్ మంత్లో ఏ లెక్చర్ మీటింగ్ మనం పెట్టుకుంటే 14 తర్వాత అయినా 31st లోపలైనా మనం ఆయన్ని మన ఈ రోజును గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటూ మనం ఒక అభిమాన మిత్రుణ్ణి కోల్పోయినందుకు మన బ్రాంచి మనము కొద్దిగా అతని యొక్క మంచి విషయాలను తలుచుకుంటూ మనం కూడా మన సమాజ సేవకు కానీ ఈవెన్ ప్రతి విషయంలో కూడా ఈవెన్ ఇన్కమ్ ట్యాక్స్ ఆఫీసులో అయితేమి, లేకపోతే జనరల్ ఇష్యూస్ అయితేమి, తర్వాత ఏ మెంబర్స్కి కానీ ఏ స్టూడెంట్కి కానీ అర్ధరాత్రి అవసరం వచ్చినా నిజంగా అతనికి తెలిస్తే మాత్రం అతనికి చెప్పకపోయినా వచ్చి దానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి సహకారాన్ని అందిస్తూ అవసరమైతే తన జోబులదైనా ఖర్చు పెట్టి ఆ పని నెరవేర్తించే మనస్తత్వం, మనం ఆ మంచి వ్యక్తిని గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటూ మనం కూడా మనం చేయగలిగినంతలో మన మనస్సాక్షిని నమ్ముతూ మనం చేసేది కరెక్టు అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఎంతమంది విభేదించినా తను అనుకున్న లక్ష్యాన్ని సాధించే వరకు పోరాడేటువంటి వ్యక్తి. ఆ వ్యక్తిని మనం ఈరోజు మన మధ్యలో మనందరితో తిరుగుతూ ఉండి మన ముందే ఇలా జరిగినది గత 2 సంవత్సరాలు అయిపోయినా మనం అతని స్మృతుల్ని జ్ఞాపకాలని మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటూ మనం ఈ లెక్చర్ మీటింగ్ని ప్రతి ఇయర్ ఇలాగ జరుపుకోవాలని మనస్ఫూర్తిగా కోరుకుంటూ వాళ్ళ కుటుంబ సభ్యులకి మన మిత్రులందరికీ ఈ యొక్క సందేశాన్ని ఈ వెబ్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ ద్వారా చైర్మన్ వంశీకృష్ణ మిగతా కమిటీ మెంబర్సు ఈ యొక్క సందేశాన్ని మీరు చెప్పండి చంద్రమౌళి గారు, మీరు మాట్లాడండి అని చెప్పారు. సో వారందరికీ నా ధన్యవాదాలు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ వంశీ. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. Now I request Mr. Jagan Mohan Garu, Ongole branch Sikasa chairman and also the past chairman of the branch to give vote of thanks.
Good evening, members of the Nellore, Ongole and Tirupati branch. A wonderful session by Mr. Madhi Rajesh. Firstly, I thank Nellore branch on behalf of these 3 branches members for initiating today's virtual seminar by name A. Shankar Narayana Memorial Lecture to be conducted on 14th of December. Anyhow, with previous conference of SIRC, we are unable to conduct this conference on 14th. Now we are conducting today. Just now our Chandramouli, past chairman of Nellore branch, and Vamsi Krishna also informed about this 14th meeting, and today we are conducting this meeting. Now I thank our today's chief guest, CA Naresh Chandra Gilli of SIRC member, regional council member of SIRC Chennai, for his inaugural speech about this today's virtual conference. Similarly, I am very thankful to Mr. Madhi Rajesh, who given excellent speech about new E-Invoice, which is a very, very brand new concept of central government under GST, which is excellently dealt by our CA Madhi Rajesh, partner Erganga and Associates. And finally, I thank all the 3 branches for participating in this meeting. I thank you very much for all the members of these 3 branches. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the session was closed. Thank you for participating.